66. RennerDoorSTL.com.
RENNER, RENNER.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, hit it.
Chris Ranji, Amy, Mark Scores. The Chris and Amy Show.
You know who it is.
Also, if you didn't know, this is called The Show.
On 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Good morning, friends, and a happy Monday, post-Super Bowl Monday. Officially, can we say it's the start? We could say it's baseball week. How about that? Because spring training starts this week for the Cardinals.
Because I believe on KMOX, it's spring training starts for the Cardinals. There's a SLU women's basketball game and a city soccer game on Y98, 11:20 a.m. and 104.1 FM.
I believe that's
things.
February 21st.
Oh, February 21st.
February 21st.
Sorry.
But
yes.
spring training does start this week on Thursday, actually. Pitchers and catchers will have their first official workout. But the Super Bowl did just happen, and Amy and I are going to take you through all of it. We're going to go through the X's and O's, the entire show. Amy's going to break down all the defensive schemes that the Seahawks did.
Oh, and they were scheming. The whole thing was defensive schemes.
Right? Well,
here's what we're going to do, see?
That guy's trying to carry the ball.
See? Here's what we're going to do. Here, I got an elaborate scheme, see?
We need your interaction. 314-436-7900 to call and text. You can leave voice messages on the Odyssey app. You can also watch the show on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Pick one. We are at Chris Amy KMOX.
Time now for the top of the order. The top 3 stories everyone will be talking about.
That's right. The Seahawks defeated the Patriots in Super Bowl 60, and now football season is officially over. And also, the halftime show controversy. Oh, no.
And new rules could limit where St. Louis data centers could be built. We'll be joined by a city planning executive, Miriam Keller, at 11:30.
And the Olympics are ongoing. They started over the weekend. Well, technically, they started on Friday with the opening ceremony. Lindsey Vonn is out. She broke her leg. How about the Billikens, though? They did it again. The Billikens have won again. They are 23-1. So go for the SLU men's basketball team. Awesome. We will talk about them as well, and we appreciate you being with us today on the show.
And that will do it. Seattle reigns above them all in the NFL. The Seahawks, Super Bowl champions for the second time.
Amy, let me just say this.
Yes.
Thank God. Oh, my God. I told you, I said this, I used this phrase 500 times probably, that I cannot do this Patriots thing again. We just went through 20 and winning the Super Bowl every other year. I can't do it. I'm physically sick. And you know what? They didn't. They stunk last night. The game actually stunk.
It's a boring.
You see the final score, 29-13, but it was awful. It was awful for the first 3 quarters.
Well,
just terrible.
As someone noted that, coming back into work on Super Bowl Monday is always tough because you're a little sleep deprived, but thankfully people were able to catch up on their sleep during the game.
Boy, was it bad. It was 12-0 through 3 quarters. You know what that means, folks? 0 touchdowns. 0 touchdowns. And let me just say this much. What I am so infuriated, there was one thing that really made me mad last night, is that the Seattle Seahawks kicker did not get the Super Bowl MVP. That's the guy who should have gotten it. They gave it to Kenneth Walker, who had a really nice Super Bowl, 135 yards on the ground, but 0 touchdowns. Meanwhile, the kicker, he scored all their points for the first 3 quarters.
So has a kicker ever won the MVP of a Super Bowl?
Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
And I get it, but, the guy was perfect. He was 5 for 5.
Yeah,
he was responsible for 17 points last night.
That's unbelievable.
17 of their 29 points. He literally was responsible for most of their points, and they give it to a running back who also a running back had not won since the late 90s, the Super Bowl MVP.
My dad said, man, the offense is struggling when they run it on 3 and 14.
Yep. Yep.
They ran it up the middle on 3 and 14.
Yeah, it was, dude, I'm telling you, it was such a snoozer. And then it became, I don't know, a little more interesting in the fourth quarter, but the Patriots never really had a chance. Drake May, the quarterback, looked bad.
So is he 22?
He's young.
He's young. I felt so bad for him.
I did not.
I know.
I loved every bit
I was
of
like,
it.
he's so young. I think this is a sign that I'm getting old. I know it's a sign that I'm getting old when I start acting like the moms and grandmas who watch sports and go, oh, but he's trying his best.
Oh, forget him. I was.
That's how I felt, is he's trying his best. He's only
Look,
22.
We just had to do the whole Tom Brady thing. I can't have the Patriots stepping into another guy. Like, going from Brady, taking a couple of years off, and then now you got this. No.
It's just.
Everybody's like, oh, Drake May's the best. Oh, Bears should have drafted him instead of Caleb. Yes, I'm being salty. But no, they shouldn't. Drake May, overrated. I knew it. I knew he was overrated.
What if he just crumbled under pressure? What if he's not
that
overrated?
ain't good. That's the time you're supposed to not.
But he's only 22.
I don't care.
See, people don't know that I'm trying my
Grow
best.
up.
Every day I try my best on this show, and this is what you get. So because I'm trying my best, when people say mean things on the text line, it hurts my feelings.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does. And so
Why?
Drake May
What do you care about them?
is because I care about the people, Ranj. We are the people's show.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
Of all the shows, we are the people's show. Hey, speaking of that, though, we do want to hear from you, 314-436-7900, as we dive deep into the X's and O's on defensive schemes, but also the Super Bowl halftime show with Bad Bunny and surprise appearances, at least surprise to me, Lady Gaga and Ricky Martin, and then the alternative halftime show
Oh, boy.
with Kid Rock.
So
We want to know, did you watch that? What about the commercials? What did you think about the national anthem? So much to talk about here.
Well, as you can guess, I did not watch the Turning Point USA Kid Rock concert. I'm sure I don't have to have watched it. I could tell you right now it was bad.
Well,
I could tell you it was terrible. And I'm only telling you it was terrible, and it has nothing to do with politics, but that whole thing was political. My opinion of Kid Rock is that he has been butt for a long time, for at least 30 years. And I can proudly say that I hated Kid Rock in 1998. Before anything was political, at least in my life, I could tell you I hated him. And, he plays all of his own instruments in concert. I don't care. He sucks. He sucks. He's awful.
This
and
guy
he
is
sucks.
so salty today.
Oh, my God, do I hate Kid Rock.
Are you doing okay? Wait, are you doing okay?
Me?
Yes, are you okay?
Yeah, why wouldn't I be?
You seem a little upset.
Well, because I hate Kid Rock.
And Drake May.
And Drake May.
Did you have any fun yesterday?
Yes, watching Drake May throw interceptions was really, really fun.
Can I say this
What?
with the Turning Point USA alternative halftime show? That made it political. The minute they wanted to have an alternative halftime show.
That is absolutely
that
correct.
made it political. And I do want to say, because I feel alone in whatever my political beliefs are. So I don't feel tied to either party at all, no loyalty. And so what I want to say is the minute that you have Kid Rock saying, this is real America, we're doing our own Turning Point USA halftime show. First of all, get a life. It's a Super Bowl halftime show. It's entertainment. Brandi Carlile knocked it out of the park with God Bless America, which was so beautiful and so patriotic.
Before the game, yeah.
Yes, Charlie Puth and the national anthem and the flyover, so amazing and patriotic. And then they have Bad Bunny, who is an American citizen because he's from Puerto Rico. So yes, it made it political and racist to have an alternative halftime show. But I want to just point this out because it's important. Kid Rock was the real America. Kid Rock was broadcast on the alternative halftime show on TBN, the Christian Broadcasting Network.
Mm-hmm.
Here's some Kid Rock lyrics that maybe were wholesome that he
I don't think you can say it.
I think I can. Here's one. Young ladies, I like them underage. See, some say that's statutory, but I say it's mandatory.
Oh, okay.
So, little uncomfortable there. Little for a political group that's kind of obsessed with pedophiles, although I can't tell if they don't like them or they do like them. It's very confusing here on the right. Maybe they should have recognized Kid Rock, maybe not appropriate for the Christian network.
Well, he's useful to them right now. He's useful to them in the moment. I don't know how useful he could possibly be because, again, he sucks. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure he's doing for you what you think he's doing for you.
Most people have always known that Kid Rock is terrible.
Yeah. So just in case you were wondering, and I know there were a lot of people trying to spike the football yesterday, that look at all these people that showed up for Turning Point USA. They left the Super Bowl. Millions of people are leaving the Super Bowl halftime performance so they could watch. Yeah. So the estimates are that it was somewhere between 5.5 and 6 million people watching Turning Point USA's halftime show. You know how many people stuck around to watch the Super Bowl halftime show? About 130 million people. So yeah, you got a few million to leave, but it wasn't what you think.
And
it was still a very small percentage. And guess who else watched? According to videos that have been circulating on social media.
Bad Bunny?
Who watched Bad Bunny? Guess. Want to take a guess?
Could it be Mr. President Trump?
It was the president.
Yes, that's
the
what
president at his party watched the Super Bowl halftime show.
Yeah.
He didn't leave for Turning Point USA.
So, also,
and then, of course, he truth socialed about it and said that it was the worst thing he's ever seen, which, okay, dude.
How many people turned on the Turning Point USA halftime show just to check out the car accident? Because I know Matt Pajeski did. Like, you turned it on.
Yeah, my friends and I were kind of interested just to see what it was like.
So,
if we were going to talk about it today, I kind of at least wanted to see what it was all about. We tuned in. We heard that it was not being able, that they weren't able to broadcast it on Twitter because they didn't have the rights. So we switched to YouTube and put it on TV. And the production quality, I guess, was better than I'd expected, but it just felt weird. I mean, it's not the halftime show at a football game. It's like this indoor venue. Kid Rock, I felt like he was lip syncing for one of the songs, but then he got out an acoustic guitar and did like an acoustic song, which I thought maybe he was singing there. But yeah, just odd. I mean, not a whole lot of people showed up.
And here's the thing. I don't speak Spanish. I wish I did. That was a big regret that I have, that I took stupid French in high school, which I didn't care about, and then I forgot everything. But Spanish would be so useful, and it's such a pretty language. So I don't speak Spanish, so I didn't know what Bad Bunny was saying. As far as the beat, the songs, Lady Gaga's like kind of the old school Latin dancing that they had when she came on. I thought it was a fun show. To me, remember how last year Kendrick Lamar, who's such a talented artist, but it didn't strike me as a spectacle enough, which a lot of people disagree with.
I disagree. I liked it.
Yeah.
I liked Kendrick's better than Bad Bunny's, but I like Kendrick's music better.
Yes. And in some ways, like, comparing the two, there were certain elements of Kendrick's that I like better. I think he's a better artist, like lyricist and everything, right? Like he's pretty deep and pretty profound. And of all people, this was so funny. My mom had done some deep reading on Bad Bunny and Kendrick Lamar and was giving us fun facts about the charitable work that they've done.
That's very funny.
And she said, and also she goes, I read about why Kendrick Lamar's performance was so significant last year. And so I have, there's a growing appreciation for Kendrick Lamar, but I do think there's something about the Latin music scene that is a spectacle, that is fun for the Super Bowl, right? It stands up to the Super Bowl, the lights, the dancing. For me, it was more dancey than Kendrick Lamar's. But I will say this. I'm glad in this case that I didn't speak too much Spanish, because I think some of the lyrics were a lot about sexy time. A lot of sexy time.
That's music, man.
And that's the
Most
thing.
music is.
And that's my point. I think if anyone is going to be disappointed and like, oh, well, this was too sexual, it has nothing to do with Bad Bunny and everything to do with that's our pop culture scene is just very sexual. Because remember when Shakira and Jennifer Lopez were on the stripper poles?
Dude.
It's just going to be sexual. That is my biggest complaint is, why can't we have good old-fashioned fun?
You probably don't remember this, but before you and I were born, Elvis Presley was not allowed. They could not on television shoot him below the waist because he was gyrating.
Yes.
That is absolutely true. So Elvis in the 60s was sexualized.
That's what I mean. The pop music is, oh my gosh.
It's always been this way.
Led Zeppelin? Or like Robert Plant's pants?
Yeah.
You can't show those.
Remember
you can't
when
show Robert Plant's pants?
Rolling Stone, were they on Ed Sullivan? I think it was the Ed Sullivan show, and they had to change the lyrics to "Let's spend the night together."
Yeah.
Because it was too risque.
But I mean, we can be honest that It's always been sexual. How overt? That has changed. Like, we didn't have songs in the 50s called WAP. You didn't have those, right? So it has become more overt.
Well, WAP wasn't on the Super Bowl last night. It was, I thought it was good. Again, Bad Bunny is not one of my favorite artists, but I can recognize when something is good, and I think it was objectively good last night. And if you didn't like it, I think you were searching for reasons to not like it.
Or, like I said, that's why I'm trying to make this point here, is I liked it. I thought it was really fun. I thought it made you want to get up and dance, right?
Yep,
it was a spectacle. I understand if there are people who still struggle with the sexualized nature of pop music in general, but that has nothing to do with Bad Bunny specifically and more to do with just our pop culture. So there's a difference between not liking it because it's Bad Bunny and not liking it because the dancing was a little too sexy to
Also, I didn't think it was overly like that last night. I feel like I've seen
I think
worse
Jennifer
on
Lopez
television.
and Shakira and some other ones were worse, maybe. But
that's Amy Marks Cores. I'm Chris Ranji. Tell us what you think. 314-436-7900. Or if you're streaming on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, you can leave us a comment there. It's the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
Hi, my name's Robin Fletcher. I've smoked for 46 years. I went to a seminar and I have not smoked a cigarette since I left. My best friend came with me and neither one of us smoked. I took my 3 sisters and my brother-in-law and my sister's best friend. None of them have smoked a cigarette. And I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
My name is Jen Carpenter. I went to a Mark Patrick seminar back in February 12, 2015, to stop smoking, and it worked. I'm coming up on 11 years. A friend of mine also went in October of 2015, and he still no longer smokes. This is after, for myself, almost 30 years of smoking, and it was just amazing.
What are you waiting for? Join Mark Patrick Hypnosis and lose the weight or stop smoking or your money back. Only $59.99. That's right, weight loss hypnosis, Saturday, March 7th at the Residence Inn by Marriott St. Louis Westport in St. Louis at 11 a.m. Registration 10:30 a.m. Stop smoking hypnosis 2 p.m. Registration 1:30 p.m. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com.
What's up? It's Draymond Green. I'm back for my 14th NBA season, and my podcast, The Draymond Green Show, is back too. This season, I'm breaking down games, reacting to the biggest NBA stories, and sitting down with teammates, rivals, and culture shapers. Trust me, I'm not holding back on the court or on the mic. 2 new episodes every week. New segments, big conversations, real basketball talk for the real hoop heads. Listen to and follow The Draymond Green Show wherever you get your podcast. We're back. We're better. Let's get it.
Attention all dog owners. If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of America's #1 dog supplement, Rough Greens. Greetings, naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is their food is probably to blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Greens. 1 daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Use discount code NEWS. Don't wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health. Order now. It'll be at your house in a few days. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Discount code NEWS for your free Jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Green. We make any dog food better.
Hey, it's Debbie Monterey. I'm joined by my friend and St. Louis real estate expert, Gloria Liu, your home sold guaranteed realty. Gloria, everyone knows you for your guaranteed sold program, but you also help your sellers get multiple cash offers, right?
That's right. Some sellers are looking for speed, certainty, and to avoid repairs and open houses. I just helped a family in December to sell their parents' estate. They chose me because I offered 4 cash offers at our first meeting, which gave them options picking the best cash offer. Whether it's multiple cash offers or my guaranteed sold program, my sellers are always in control to sell fast and for the most money. It's my guarantees and my buyers in waiting program that set me apart from other realtors.
If you're ready to make your move without the hassles, guaranteed, call Gloria Lou right now at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
Retiring soon? Get the information you need by joining Kyle Jones and Matt Allgeier of Fire Capital Management for your retirement highway, Sunday mornings at 9:30. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, registered investment advisors. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
100 years of service and still at your service. KMOX.
As always, keep the conversation going at 314-436-7900. We want to hear from you. I was saying how I thought the Bad Bunny halftime show lived up to the spectacle that's the Super Bowl, right? Like I said, you may have scruples with sexualization of it or whatever, but I mean, that's any halftime show. But I thought the music itself, I thought Bad Bunny, the production of it made me want to get up and dance. Like, I don't know. I really liked it.
I like that they had these celebrities like Pedro Pascal and Jessica Alba, and Cardi B was up there, but they were just in the background.
Yeah.
Very easy to miss unless you just kind of like, because when we saw them, they were dancing underneath the awning of the building that they had set up, like on the porch. They were hanging out on the porch. And it was like, was that Pedro Pascal? Is that who that was?
Oh,
like
was
it just, it was really cool how they did that.
I loved the old like Latin cafe moment with Lady Gaga. Like that was so, I thought it was really classy. So here's a texter. I lost. Oh, here we go. A 314. Loved Bad Bunny. Never heard any of his songs before. I'm 68 years old. I thought the show was creative, beautiful, and without a doubt, fun. Who cares if I don't know what the lyrics are? I can't understand rap, and I like some of that too. It was a great show.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. Another 314. The show was cool, but nowhere close to one of the best. Still ranking number 1, Prince. Number 2, Michael Jackson, and everything else can kick rocks by comparison.
All right, stop. U2 was really great in the months after 9/11. That was a really great halftime show. I know I'm a little biased because I like U2. I thought was it a couple of years ago when they had Snoop and Eminem and everybody came out on stage? It was just like a huge show. Like that one I thought was really good. Do you know the story about the Michael Jackson at the Rose Bowl when he performed in 93, I think it was. And I did not remember this. And then after the fact, I saw this post the other day, and it was one of the anchors, I think, from Good Morning America or Today's Show. I can't remember. One of those two. And talking about the history of that Michael Jackson show, that the year prior to that, the Super Bowl halftime entertainment was like some figure skating, and it was just really, really boring. It wasn't anything particularly special, and people just kind of tuned out. In Living Color, you remember the show In Living Color with the Damon Wayans and David Alan Grier and that really good comedy show from the 90s. They did an alternative halftime show because nobody was watching the Super Bowl. It was Super Bowl halftime was like an afterthought. So they did it and millions of people turned away. Like they got better ratings than the Super Bowl halftime show did. The following year, the Super Bowl was like, well, we have to do better than that. So they put Michael out there. And that was a gigantic spectacle. Wow. And now, ever since then, the Super Bowl halftime show is a spectacle, and they try to do the best thing possible.
Yeah, it's really, really interesting because I remember reading about the figure skating halftime show, which is pretty funny.
Like I had forgotten about that. We
314 talking about the commercials now, which we still need to get to. The Levi's commercial had as much booty shaking and gyrating as the halftime show. Like Amy said, it's part of our pop culture, which I have no problem if you have an issue with that. But I thought the spectacle of Bad Bunny, spectacle meaning the show, the production, lived up to the Super Bowl. And I said this last year, like I was on the fence with Kendrick Lamar as far as like, was it the spectacle? Because I can tell you who wasn't the spectacle. Remember when Coldplay did the halftime show? No, you don't. Nobody does because it didn't live.
Okay,
and
so
Beyonce
I vaguely
showed
remember
up.
it.
Yes. And then Beyonce showed up and she was the spectacle. Like she knows how to put on a production that can rival the hype and the bigness of the moment. And everybody forgets that Chris Martin was even there, because I love Coldplay. I'm not dissing Chris Martin. I love them, but it's a little more sing-songy and calm. I don't know how to describe it. I mean, they can do a little bit of a spectacle, but they weren't big enough.
It's a big name, so I understand why they did it. And I don't really have the I think you have a very narrow view of what the Super Bowl show should be, and that it should be a spectacle and fun and upbeat. I don't think it necessarily needs to be that. I think if you have an artist that grabs people's attention, regardless of how they do it, that's okay. That's just my personal opinion. I don't think it has to be.
Well,
I think Coldplay music is fine. It's fine if that's what they want to do for a halftime show. It's popular enough that they can get away with it.
I think, and I don't think it's a narrow definition. What I'm saying, there is a certain amount of energy and momentum and air that's constantly flowing throughout an entire Super Bowl telecast. And if you happen to have an artist who brings that down because maybe it's a calmer performance, you notice it more. And like you said, that may be his goal. But sometimes it's fun to have an artist who doesn't let the air out, who keeps it going and banging. And you're like, wow, this is great. I feel amped up, versus that was a very nice show.
Yeah, I can see that. I don't know if it needs to be that, but I see what you're saying. Amy Marks, Chorus, Chris Ranji, feel free to chime in if you want. 314-436-7900. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. If you want to watch us on those platforms, you can leave us comments there. And on the Odyssey app, you can leave a voice message. Super simple and easy to do. You should do it. And it's free. Everything is free on the Odyssey app. It's Chris and Amy on KMOX.
For 100 years, KMOX has been the voice of St. Louis, informing, entertaining, and connecting our community. Now, relive a century of service at KMOX100.com, a website that allows you to explore classic KMOX audio, rare photos and video, and the legendary voices that shaped St. Louis. Every headline, every heartbreak, every heartbeat lives on at KMOX100.com.
Hey, St. Louis City SC fans, mark your calendars now. The Boys in Red return to Energizer Park to kick off Season 4 Saturday, February 21st. And you could be there for the dawn of a new golden era of St. Louis soccer. Go to stlcitysc.com/tickets and reserve your seat now for the MLS home opener versus Charlotte FC. Limited quantities remain. See you soon, St. Louis.
Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
Currently, it is 33 degrees. Sunshine today. Yep, it's sunny out there and warmer. A high of 55 tonight. Clear with a low of 39. Weather sponsored by the Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm.
Sandberg Phoenix serves your business in litigation, intellectual property, and products liability. We're more than a law firm. We're committed to your success. Learn more at sandbergphoenix.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
When you've been injured in an accident, hurt on the job, or in a medical mishap, there are many reasons to call Morgan & Morgan. But here's reason number 5. We try more cases than anyone in America by a wide margin. We are on approximately 150 dockets a week and win a lot. Go to forthepeople.com to see our verdicts and results. I believe our results give you the best chance of a fair, fast, and just settlement. Insurance companies know who we are by reputation. Imagine me doing this ad if it wasn't true. They would be laughing. Trust me, nobody is laughing. Their employees and adjusters often hire us when they're hurt. They know, and now you know. All law firms are not alike, not even close. With over $30 billion collected for our clients, we became America's largest injury firm for a reason. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
Are you turning 65 or new to Medicare? Humana knows not everyone has the same needs when picking a Medicare Advantage plan.
Now that I'm retired, I want to enjoy the life I've worked hard to build. So I want a plan that covers me when I'm traveling the country.
Humana has a plan for that.
As a veteran, I want a plan that fills in the gaps my VA coverage doesn't provide, like dental care.
Humana has a plan for that.
I feel good about my health. I just want care and coverage with predictable costs. No surprises.
Humana has a plan for that. With a Humana Medicare Advantage plan, you get coverage and benefits that focus on what matters most to you. Learn more at gethumana.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. Humana is a Medicare Advantage HMO and PPO organization with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal.
Can I take your coat?
Oh, you noticed? Yeah, I found it on eBay from a seller in Vegas. Pre-loved and perfect. She listed it and jackpot. Italian leather, classic trench silhouette. And did you see the braided buckle?
Hang on to your claim ticket.
Oh, I'll hang on to this forever. Have you been on eBay? There's so many finds. And I bet that diving watch would sell fast. Just saying.
Find what you love, sell what you don't. eBay. Things people love.
Every morning, we rise and shine, make breakfast, and brush away the night's rest. These routines help us start the day off right. Nature Made vitamins are a simple step in that daily care regimen. Multivitamins with daily essentials, clinically studied probiotics for gut health support, magnesium to help relax the body. Nature Made is made to care for you every day. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Hey, it's Matt Pauley. Cardinals pitchers and catchers are about to report to spring training in Jupiter, Florida, and I'll be there bringing you everything you need to know.
Listen for Matt's reports throughout the day, starting Tuesday. Sponsored by St. Louis Composting and a Happy Roof on the voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
It's my favorite time of the every 2 years.
What, the Olympics?
Yes.
Oh.
I love the Olympics. Ever since I was a little kid, I've been obsessed with the Olympics. I love the patriotism. I love and I mean, obviously for Team USA, but all the countries representing, right, their home countries and all the work that these athletes have put in and how we all come together and cheer on such incredible individuals. So I've been watching, figure skating, downhill, curling, bobsled, luge, or not bobsled, but luge, what's on. And the one thing I've noticed with the American athletes is that the press has asked them at multiple press conferences, maybe not every press conference, but a lot of the ones that I've seen, they ask the athletes, hey, is it complicated? Are you struggling wearing the American flag or representing America right now with everything that's going on? That question's really rubbing me the wrong way because I understand what's going on right now and there is a lot of pain, hurt, controversy, whatever in our country. But I think what's happening right now is not erasing all of the good things about America and what America should stand for and should be, right? And two, in this moment, especially when athletes are still competing, may have events coming up later, have already competed in an event, they are so focused on their sport, to compel them to make them answer a very, very charged question where they might not be able to give a winning answer. No matter what they say, somebody's going to be super mad at them for not saying enough, for saying too much. We're not right now great with nuance and meaningful distinctions, so they're just going to get ripped apart. You're putting that athlete in a no-win situation in the moment when they have trained their whole lives for this one event or these two events. Now, if they want to use the platform to speak out, absolutely, do that. If you're an athlete and go, I'm going to speak out on this. But I feel funny about forcing them to give an answer.
See, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think it's almost impossible to avoid it because, like it or not, they happen to be Olympians at a time in history where they are representing the country on the world stage. I think it would be, we would be treating them like infants if we say, well, don't ask them any serious questions. I don't think that you can get past that, because the Olympics is just a sporting event. I know that people say all the time, keep politics out of sports. Sports should just be entertainment, and that's it. Of any sporting event in the world, maybe the World Cup being the other one, I don't think there's anything that is more political than the Olympics. And you just have to go back through all of history, 1936, 1968, 1980, one of our greatest American sporting achievements in history that we celebrate still was a highly politically charged event. So I just don't think that we can, I think it's a little naive to just want the athletes to be insulated. They can't be. They have chosen, and while they are doing this to play the sport they love or do the events they love, you're still choosing to represent the country. So I don't have any problem with the question being asked of them.
So to me, it's partly the phrase, like, are you still proud to wear the American flag, or is it complicated? And I think if it's like, okay, if we're always going to bring up the most pressing political issues, because I agree with you, sports are always political. And not only is the Olympics political, it's pretty corrupt in a lot of ways. The IOC is pretty darn corrupt. But why don't you ask, hey, when you were in Beijing or when you were in the Winter Olympics in China, do you have any scruples, skiing when there's a concentration camp killing 2 million Uyghurs just down the hill? Do you have any trouble sitting at an autocrat's house? Because I had an issue with it. We all went to China as if nothing was happened, and Xi Jinping is killing Muslim Uyghurs, 2 million people, and they weren't that far from the Xinjiang region.
Because these people are being asked about their country and what their country is doing back home and on the world stage. I just don't think it is avoidable. And one of the people who was asked was American skier Hunter Hess, and this was his response.
It brings up mixed emotions to represent the U.S. right now, I think. It's a little hard. There's obviously a lot going on that I'm not the biggest fan of, and I think a lot of people aren't. If it aligns with my moral values, I feel like I'm representing it. Just because I'm wearing the flag doesn't mean I represent everything that's going on in the U.S. So yeah, I just kind of want to do it for my friends and my family and the people that support me getting here.
I mean, that's a good answer. That's a good answer.
I thought it was pretty tame, honestly.
Yeah. And to be honest, pretty much every athlete could probably give that answer. You could go to the German athletes and go, are you upset wearing the German flag, what's going on with immigration and stuff in Germany? And they could say, well, I don't agree with everything. I guess my issue is, again, I can't even put a finger on it too much to know why this one, it kind of rubs me the wrong way. I think you could ask an athlete, any athlete from any country about that, because I think it's weird to think that an athlete wearing the flag of their country agrees with everything that country is doing. That's never been true. That's never been true. Where just because you're wearing the flag, you agree with the president,
right?
You agree with everything.
But I think you would agree also, though, our status on the world stage is a whole lot different now than it was even 10 years ago.
It is. And I think
people don't look at us the same.
And I'm trying to sift through my emotions if I'm just irritated that people are associating the president with the flag and all that America stands for in that sense, as if in my mind, America, the ideals and values in the Constitution, who we are and who we have been, is much bigger than the current person in the White House.
And I agree. It represents all of us. It doesn't just represent the South or the people who are in red states. It represents all of us, blue states, red states, me, you. And I think we don't give that enough credit sometimes.
Yeah. And so maybe this is me just irritated that because of his personality that he injects himself into every conversation. And maybe that's why I'm irritated with the question. I thought Brandi Carlile, who sang God Bless America, who's outspoken against the president, who is very active in the LGBT community, and she was asked about singing God Bless America at this time, like, oh, and she said, no, I love this country. I love what the country stands for. And she said that God Bless America is like a hope It's a prayer. It's what we want. It's our ideals. So she was singing that song, understanding that the country and the values of our nation are bigger than the man or the guy in the White House.
And it is okay to criticize your own country. That is part of being an American. If you don't like something that is going on, being American means that you can say something about it. And you know what? That goes for all the people who hated it when Barack Obama was president or Joe Biden was president, and they criticized those two guys all the time. It can't just be fair for you and then be unfair for the rest of us. Now, the president did weigh in on the skier Hunter Hess's comments, which I think, Amy, both of you and I agree, it was fairly tame. And I thought it was he didn't say, I hate this country and I don't want to live here anymore and I'm doing this reluctantly.
He could have said it during the Biden administration. It was that generic.
Right. It was
Yes.
fairly. I don't agree with everything going on right now. That's all he said, but he's still an American. So this is what the president said, quote, U.S. Olympic skier Hunter Hess, a real loser, says he doesn't represent his country in the current Winter Olympics. That's not what he said. If that's the case, he shouldn't have tried out for the team, and it's too bad he's on it. Very hard to root for someone like this. And I think that's just an awful response by the president.
He's
Terrible.
a child. He's a very, very small man with no self-esteem, and he exposes his lack of character every day. But this is what a texter brings this up. And Ranj, this is kind of what I'm saying. A 314 says, the questions asked of a teenager or athlete in their early 20s, meaning at the Olympics, should be of the sport they're competing in. If they say the wrong thing, it could affect their career and earning potential from then on. And it's like I said, it's kind of like, I don't know. I for something, I'm a little uncomfortable if you ask a 17-year-old or an 18-year-old, like, let them speak out on their own, but maybe don't force them into, I don't know. I'm not sure why I'm struggling.
If you get to the Olympics and you know you're going to be watched, eyeballs are going to be on you by millions and millions of people, and maybe you're participating in an event which is in an arena and tens of thousands live are going to be watching you. I mean, I think you should be prepared to take a question from members of foreign media.
You're going to, or American media.
Either one.
I agree. I think you would have to do, I always put myself in that situation, and I think, what would I say?
You got to be prepared.
You have to be prepared.
How could you not go to the Olympics and not be prepared?
And,
you know?
And the thing is, the reason why I said, like, the flag, our country, our values are so much bigger than the current administration. For a couple moments yesterday, I was so encouraged, and it was just so fun for everyone to be excited about the same thing and to feel pride when Breezy Johnson won the downhill and they play the national anthem. And I was like, man, we talk about how it's hard to sing, but like, man, I love this anthem. And I love seeing the American flag go up there. And I felt so patriotic and proud of Breezy Johnson. And then when Charlie Puth at the national anthem, and that all the people around the country are watching the Super Bowl and are so excited, and it's such a spectacle, and Charlie Puth sang it so beautifully, I got to forget division for a little bit, and it was really fun.
Yeah,
and I felt really patriotic.
That's great, but and I completely agree with you. It'd be nice to be able to do that. I just don't think for this particular event, it's possible.
No,
because
it will always be political. It will always be political.
The event's always going to be political, and this happens to be a time in history where the United States especially is not making other countries happy, especially our own allies.
Well, and that's
our own friends are
that's
upset
what bothers
with us.
me. Europe is our ally, and like when we're watching Italy
Since
and France.
World War II, man.
Yes, I'm like, these are our friends, and I did feel that.
World War I.
I felt so irritated that there is this tension between the European countries and Canada and the U.S. because of how the president approaches the world. And it's just a bully and putting everyone down and saying you're nothing without us. The way when he said Denmark was worthless, didn't help, and outside they took down the flags of all the people who were I got to pull this up. It was outside like the U.S. Embassy. They had placed flags for each person who had lost in World War II, and they just took the flags down. Like, that doesn't count. Europe is nothing without us. And that made me so Sad.
And it's unnecessary. It's too bad. Tell us what you think, though. 314-436-7900 to leave us text messages, voice messages on the Odyssey app, or if you're streaming on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter, you can leave us a comment there. It's Chris and Amy on KMOX. Did you see this? Is next.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler here. I want to tell you about 213 Complex, and you can pick that up at supplement superstores. And quite simply, 213 Complex is the most effective and powerful all-natural weight loss supplement ever developed. Here's what it's doing for me and what it'll do for you. Boost the metabolism, gets it working at full go all the time. Helps with cravings, and man, that's a big deal for me. All-day focus energy with no jitters, no crash at the end of the day. It's a great tool for achieving your goals. Get out to supplement superstores. Tell them Kevin Wheeler sent you in. They will knock 30% off your 213 Complex, and you can find your location at supplementsuperstores.com.
When it comes to planning your retirement, there's a lot to think about. Portfolio management, tax planning, and retirement income just to get started. Steve All and his team at the All Financial Group focus on those things and more. Their goal is to help you achieve your goals. Call 636-230-8824 or online, yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Steve All, NPN number 153-07419.
The Humane Society of Missouri's Day of Giving is just around the corner. On this day, your favorite local TV station will highlight incredible rescue stories of animals fighting to survive, stories of courage, resilience, and hope. Visit the Humane Society website to watch these powerful stories and see the life-saving work made possible by compassionate donors like you. These stories underscore why it's so vital to support the HSMO. Go to KMOX.com/events today for more information.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and
Center, the 2026 State Farm MVC Tournament, presented by Credit Union One, Great Southern Bank, and SSM Health, tips off on March 5th through 8th. Celebrate 50 years of the Valley's postseason championship. Get your tickets now at archmadness.com.
It's a great time, if there's ever a great time, to purchase a furnace or an air conditioner. I know it's winter. We got some great pricing. You can get 0% financing. So if you have been told that you need a new furnace, definitely give me a call. I could probably save you lots of money. Get a second opinion. Call me. Next day installs for your furnace so you won't be without heat. Very long. A furnace average install about 2-3 hours for a furnace. So not a big issue to do it now. And like I said, great pricing. So if that's you, call me. It's Bart Inman. One easy number, Missouri and Illinois. Just the easiest number. And there's one. 314-293-2600. Again, 314-293-2600. Or on the internet, it is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
You're still grooving, still connecting, still loving, still turning up, still thriving. You still got it, but your immune system, it weakens as you age. That's where vaccines come in. They help train and strengthen your immune response to fight off respiratory illnesses like flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, or COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Book in minutes at VaxAssist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. After my husband died, the last thing I wanted to think about was money. Ethos made it affordable to get life insurance. Signing up was fast and 100% online. I knew that I could pay our mortgage and have food in the fridge. I could focus on my kids. No one ever tells you how much you're going to depend on that policy. I am so grateful we had coverage.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/save. That's ethos.com/save. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX. Now, Did you see this? With Chris and Amy.
Again, thank you for all the texts at 314-436-7900. I don't know. Sorry, just going back to our conversation. You know what it is, Ranj?
Yeah.
I think I'm just, like I said, frustrated that we're in a position that the president and his actions inject themselves into every facet of our lives. It's not just politics, because you're right. The Olympics have always been political. Sports is a political tip of the spear, with groundbreaking in culture. At any rate, speaking of sports and change, a lot has changed since the Green Bay Packers under Vince Lombardi won the first Super Bowl in 1967. Only 3 fans remain who witnessed the game's evolution in person, and those are Tom Henschel, Don Chrisman, and Gregory Eaton, who have been to all 60 Super Bowls.
Wow.
These 3 guys. In 1967, how much do you think a ticket to the Super Bowl was?
$5.
Oh, man, you always ruin the game. $12.
It's $12?
Yeah. This year, of course, it cost thousands to get in. But in 1967, 24 million people watched the Super Bowl on TV. That's a lot. And of course, this year, well over 100 million. But those 3 octogenarians have been to all 60 Super Bowls.
And if I'm not mistaken, they did a feature on
they did.
Prior to the game on NBC, and it was like maybe 2:00 in the afternoon, 3:00, something like that. And they had a photographer who has photographed every single Super Bowl. And so obviously he's been around since then. And that's 60 Super Bowls. So he is the official photographer. And they showed some of his, and I forgot his name, but they showed some really great pieces by him. But they've had one photographer who's been there for every single Super Bowl. Very
unbelievable.
Cool. Power Mizzou, which is if you're a Mizzou fan, this is a great resource to follow Mizzou sports, and Power Mizzou on Twitter at PowerMizzou.com. They tweeted this out last night. Mizzou quarterbacks to win a Super Bowl, and there are 3 of them. Blaine Gabbert, Chase Daniel, and Drew Lock. All of them were backup quarterbacks. So 3 Mizzou quarterbacks have won the Super Bowl. They have taken 0 snaps total, and each one of them has a ring now. So that's pretty cool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
They're
3
taking
Mizzou
0
quarterbacks
snaps in the Super Bowl?
That's right.
Yeah.
You like that?
Would you, again, I love watching sports with my mom because it's always unexpected.
Yeah.
And she was rooting for the Seahawks because she liked the navy and green.
Oh,
she
yeah.
thought they were nice. She
Yeah.
thought the white were unimpressive. The white Patriots jerseys were unimpressive. She liked the navy and green. And she said if she had to play football, but she doesn't want to, but if she had to, she said she would be the kicker because you just run out there, you kick the ball, and you get to leave before anyone hits you.
Yep. And I'm sorry, but the kicker last night should have been Super Bowl
Should
MVP.
have been the Super Bowl MVP.
Jason Myers, you are my MVP, okay? So next gen stats, Amy, is they measure football players on the field. They have sensors on their uniforms and helmets, and they can see how a player has traveled on the field. They can look at the routes. They can tell you how fast a player is running, what their top speed is. It's really kind of cool. Well, last night during the halftime show, Bad Bunny had a football that he carried around on the field, and he had it with him for parts of the show. So next gen stats last night, this was right as the second half was starting.
Yeah.
They estimated that Bad Bunny carried the football on the field 124.4 yards. The New England Patriots had carried it 79. At that time of the game, the Patriots only had 79 yards rushing.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Actually, I take that back. They had 79 total yards for the entire game. So it wasn't
Bad Bunny
just at
got
the
more
half.
rushing yards.
Yes,
for
Bad
sure.
Bunny on his own got more rushing yards than the New England Patriots did last night.
That's a great stat. But they didn't have that on the FanDuel.
No, they did not.
You couldn't. They weren't
You
expecting
can't bet
it.
that. Yeah, you can't bet that. Right. I see what you're saying. No, you cannot bet if Bad Bunny would have more yards than the Patriots. That would have been a great prop bet, though. Hour 2 of 3 on the Chris and Amy show coming up on KMOX.
Being first in line can be very important to homeowners. First in line for the plumber, first in line for the HVAC guy, first at Banner Construction. It's Banner Construction's winter home event, and you can be the first in line this spring and save before the annual price increases. Banner Construction is a James Hardie and Pella replacement windows specialist, and now is the best time to schedule a free in-home consultation with no obligation. Call 314-569-1050 or check them out on the web at bannerconstruction.com and have a banner day.
Mozart's The Magic Flute comes to life in concert with the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra. Under the baton of music director Stefan Deneve, hear one of Mozart's most brilliant scores performed in all its richness, with the St. Louis Symphony Chorus and St. Louis Children's Choirs bringing its unforgettable characters to life. February 20th and 22nd at Powell Hall at the Jack C. Taylor Music Center. Tickets at slso.org.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. You know, the big wireless companies say they have discounts for people over 55, but unless you're willing to sit on hold and ask, you're probably paying more than you should. At Consumer Cellular, there's nothing to hunt down. We're built for people 50 plus with plans starting at just $20. And our 100% US-based customer service actually answers the phone. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today and get your second month free for a limited time.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Let's go! You're still grooving, still connecting, still loving, still turning up, still thriving. You still got it, but your immune system, it weakens as you age. That's where vaccines come in. They help train and strengthen your immune response to fight off respiratory illnesses like flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, or COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Book in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood, the voice of St. Louis.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could it be lower testosterone?
Lower T.
Happens to most guys after 40. I was in the same boat until I started using Nugenix Total T2.
Total T2, the new one I've seen on TV.
Yep, it's the next generation testosterone booster for both free and total testosterone. It's packed with even more man-boosting power, sending nitric oxide levels skyrocketing in just 3 hours.
It actually works?
I feel like I'm in my 20s again. I've got more energy, better results in the gym, and things are even better in the bedroom. Send them a text and get a complimentary bottle.
Text now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the #1 testosterone brand at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, absolutely free. Text AREA to 369369. AREA to 369369. AREA to 369369.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
It is 10 o'clock and we've got plenty of sunshine, 37 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterey. The Backstoppers is now helping the families of 2 St. Louis City police officers hurt in January's head-on collision with a traffic pursuit suspect. Executive Director Lawrence O'Toole says officers Kelly Smith and Jeffrey Stoll have been through numerous surgeries and face a challenging recovery. A new government document obtained by CBS News shows that thousands of people being arrested by ICE in the undocumented roundup efforts have no criminal record, 40%, and that number is higher if considering violent crimes as a benchmark. We get more from CBS's Camila Montoya Galvez.
Living in the country illegally, again, is typically treated as a civil offense of federal immigration law. And the millions of people who are here undocumented include very sympathetic individuals, including people who have been here for years, if not decades, people who have American-born children, and now asylum seekers who are being arrested when they're showing up to their court hearings, complying with the legal immigration process.
Whether to allow or ban ICE and Border Patrol agents from wearing masks has emerged as a central question as Congress debates over the funding of the Department of Homeland Security. Democrats want to ban them as one of several proposals to rein in ICE operations, but many Republicans support the masks, saying they are an important safeguard from online harassment. Lawmakers face a Friday midnight funding deadline to avoid a partial agency shutdown. At the Puppy Bowl, the winning Team Fluff had 3 members from the Humane Society of Missouri, and Cheesecake's rescue story was highlighted during the broadcast.
They talked about how she was part of the Christian County Rescue, the 224 animals, including 217 dogs that we rescued in late July of last year. And she has obviously is living her best life now.
Humane Society's Chief Communications Officer Laura Keller says the other exciting news was Boba on Team Fluff was named MVP, and the Humane Society of Missouri has never had a Puppy Bowl MVP before. SAG-AFTRA President Sean Astin will be part of forthcoming negotiations with studios and streamers less than 3 years after the last strike. He says the threat of artificial intelligence has only become graver. He commends his predecessor, Fran Drescher, on her conflict resolution skills and says the rebranding of what was once the SAG Awards to the Actor Awards makes the point of the show more obvious. Those of us on the air here at KMOX are members of SAG-AFTRA. From the business desk, the good news for Energizer, battery sales are up. The bad news, tariffs continue to weigh down profits for the Clayton-based company. Energizer sales were up in the first quarter ending December 31st, more than 6% over the year before, but the company saw a loss in profits because of the impact of tariffs. According to the Post-Dispatch, Energizer CEO John Drabik considers those transitional one-time costs that won't continue for much longer.
Bright sunshine and becoming breezy and mild this afternoon, high 54. Mainly clear tonight, though just 45. Sunshine mixing with clouds tomorrow, high 61. For Wednesday, more sun than clouds and cooler, high 51. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's sunny and 37 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
Weather sponsored by Renner Garage Door, forward and back, RENNER.
Cardinal Cowboy here. Renner Garage Door has you covered. Renner's been turning garage doors from zero to hero since 1966. RennerDoorSTL.com.
RENNER. Still here, still trusted. The voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Chris Ranji, Amy Mark Scores with you. And I think a lot of people kind of have a general understanding that if you are in the public eye, whether you're some kind of celebrity, local celebrity, or in the news, or you are a famous actress, singer, whatever, you're going to get comments on your appearance. But what I don't think people realize is how prolific those comments are, how mean those comments are, how often they happen. And I mean, we talk about some of the comments I get. The most common complaint is people hate my laugh. Like people would leave voice messages and texts about how much they hate my laugh. But I've had comments on appearance, right? Even in radio, believe it or not. And if I'm on TV, you get comments about appearance. But Carissa Codell is a 26-year-old reporter on the morning show Ozarks First for KOLR 10 and Fox 49 in Springfield, Missouri and Branson, Missouri. And she's on TV every day. So, of course, she's going to get comments from idiots and losers. The haters and losers are going to comment. But she kind of took control of that situation and started reading the comments on TV with a screenshot of that comment coming into her. And there's something... It's almost like she's taking away the power of those comments by reading them on the air.
Damn, girl, I want you to put a hurtin' on me like you do those midnight snacks. I don't think I will. I ain't never worked as hard as them ankles. Ladies, if your man doesn't work harder than your ankles, get another one. What happened to just... You look nice. She's like the only fat 9 I've ever seen. I'm rare. That's what I get out of that. Built for breeding. Tonight at 5. This is who Sir Mix-a-Lot was rapping about. And if you don't get that reference, it's time to do your homework and go to bed. You look like you could survive a harsh winter. She's thicker than zoo glass. Brick wall, more like brick house, and I'm looking to move in. After the commercial, we're going to explain how you can securely lock your house to keep Brennan out.
So, yeah. So she is getting tons of comments about her appearance. Obviously, you can. What makes people think they have the right to comment like that on someone? But also, you kind of have to be just a profound loser to take time out of your day to insult the appearance of someone who is working hard. You know, she's on a local morning show in Springfield and Branson, Missouri. What is it about someone being in the public eye that makes people feel like they can comment the cruelest, stupidest things? Is it just like it brings out all the losers who don't have any lives themselves?
Well, I don't know, but it's been going on forever.
Yes.
But it's just easier now to get a hold of your local news anchor. And I am certain that it's worse for women than it is for men. I mean, I've heard lots of stories from women I know in the business who've been like, oh, look at this message I got, or here, check out this one. I mean, I will get some hateful stuff, but it's not like it's not like that.
Oh,
it's not
what
like,
you're
hey,
wearing.
you're too fat.
No.
You know, it's very weird. And a lot of times, some of the women that I know will get comments like that from other women, which I think is really strange.
Some of the meanest comments I've gotten are from women. Men will send the creepy comments.
Yeah, there's a difference.
Yes, there's a difference. And I will say this. I know that I don't get it nearly as badly as a lot of women who are either on TV or in sports. I think the being on radio kind of protects me a little bit. And then also I think the KMOX listener base is very smart. They're not all losers.
Yeah, like 95%.
Yeah. And so I do think I'm protected a little bit, and I know how much I get. So I can only imagine for women in sports, women on TV. And the thing is, I am so impressed by Carissa, how she said, no, you're not going to weaponize this against me. I am going to read back your comments to take their power away, to show how stupid they are, because that is hard to do when you get enough negative comments about your appearance. Like I said, your laugh, it gets to you. I'm a pretty confident person, but I can tell you, I think I have thin skin now. Maybe I had thick skin, and then texts and comments are like sandpaper that grate it down, because I feel like I have thin skin now, because all day long, you know, if you have people saying negative things about you, it wears you down, and it does get to your psyche a little bit, where you start thinking those negative thoughts. So for Carissa to say, to be strong enough to stand up to them, I really admire. And I know you know women in sports who have to watch out for creepy people.
Sure.
And why is she wearing that dress? Why is her makeup like that? Her hair looks stupid. It's unbelievable the amount of comments you get.
I don't know. So I know it's difficult to do. I suppose the only thing you can do is every time you get a message like that, or sometimes it's a handwritten note, which is really nice. I think
during right after January 6th, when I condemned January 6th.
You got a lot, right?
Oh my gosh, the hate was terrible. People printed out my face and like terrible things and sent letters. I remember being afraid to open the letters. I had to have a lawyer open the letters that people sent me, because I didn't like being called the C word and all these other things. I didn't like reading it.
Imagine being one of those people and so angry about I don't know, man. That means you're an insane person. If you watch those events, and I know this is a sidebar, but if you watched those events transpire 5 years ago now, and your first thought is to send a letter like that to somebody who criticized what was going on, then you're a crazy person. You need to go get checked out. But I do think that the thing that will help you, it's easy for me to say it, I think, but to anybody else who might get messages like that, it does help if you just keep in mind, this person is a gigantic idiot and nobody cares what they think about anything. Nobody cares what they think.
So you do a good job at that. I almost feel like you like the trolls. You're like, I can handle this guy. Where I am, like I said, I don't mean to be thin-skinned, but guys, I am trying. So I am trying. And so like when people are mean, like it hurts my feelings.
Look, here's what I'll say, Amy. I don't mind going back at somebody who will come at me, but I don't wear it.
Yes.
Later on, I'm not still thinking about that
I'll
person
start- I'll-
because I know
yeah.
that for the most part, people do not care what that person thinks
And that's why
about anything.
I don't know how the really famous women on TV, I don't know how they do it because again, I'm on radio. There are buffers for me and that protects me in a lot of ways and I still get junk. So for the women who are very, very visible, I don't know how they do it because I'll say this in politics. You can attack someone's policies and say, I do not like those economic policies, those fiscal policies, the foreign policy approach, whatever. But so many times it is a laugh, a pantsuit, a hairstyle,
Something really
a smile,
superficial. Yeah.
likability. And that's why, you know what? With Kamala Harris, yeah, you could disagree with a lot. But you know what? I'm not going to criticize her laugh because it's ingrained sexism, I think, in our culture to be extra critical of women in those weird areas that don't matter. And like I said, you could think, well, Kamala's laugh was bad. Hey, people hate my laugh. You could go ask Charlie Brennan. Half of the wine line was complaints about my laugh. So I'm not going to, criticize policies. Don't be a superficial idiot.
I like your laugh. I don't know if I like it.
They call it a guffaw.
I don't know if I like it at 7:15 when I'm still waking up, but
I've been up. But good on Carissa. And not that it's the most important thing. She is gorgeous and strong. They said she does like gym, like weightlifting videos. Like she's an athlete.
oh, is she?
Mm-hmm. And they're pretty good. That's what
Yeah,
I
I think she handled that well. And I know not everybody can handle it the way she's handled it, and some people take it more personally. Because honestly, there is nothing more personal than being told you're fat. I mean, that's right to your face from a complete stranger. But she is, and I don't expect everybody to be able to do it the way she's doing it. But good for her for being able to.
And I know you say like, let it go, don't carry it. And I have struggled with that. So I'm going to ask you, since you know even more, I think, women in sports and in, big news positions, whether it's national TV shows or like Chicago, New York or whatever, what do they say about how they handle it? Because when back in 2019, and I've told the story, I'll be quick, became the first female in St. Louis history to do the radio pre and post game for any professional sports team in St. Louis on radio. And I did that with the Blues. And I came in on an off day to record some commercials or to do something. And I had a hat on because I had just run. And our video guy at the time said, hey, we want to commemorate that you're going to do this Blues game. Let me film you. And I said, well, I have a hat on. I just ran. I came in on my off day. That's okay. That's you. It's hockey. People wear hats. Okay. I do the video. The comments I got, mostly from women, why is she wearing a hat? It's so disrespectful. My husband works outside where it's actually cold. He has to wear a hat. I still think about those comments.
Wait,
it was
what kind of
7
hat
years
was
ago.
it?
It was a knit hat.
A winter hat?
A black knitted hat that I got from ZB Market
Oh,
in
if you're one of
Maplewood.
those people, calm down.
And I still think about that.
Okay, now that you need to
So
let
what do
that go.
what do your lady friends do? Because they have to get a ton of creepy stuff.
I know most who laugh at it, and maybe privately, deep down, it bothers them. I don't know, and they're just not saying anything. I know there's one person I could think of who takes everything very, very personally, and I know it does affect her. Not you.
Okay.
It's not you.
Yeah, and it does. So what does she do to handle it?
I mean, she goes back after all of them. She goes at pretty much. She responds, I think, just about all of them.
Oh, really? See, I don't respond.
Yeah. And sometimes she'll publicly put them, as they say, on blast.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if I would always do that. She tends to do it a lot. But yeah, there are most people I know who are in that position just kind of either laugh it off or they quietly feel hurt by it.
Yeah, because I think it does make you lose faith in humanity at times.
Sure.
I think a phrase, and now I feel like this is my own personal therapy session that I'm having in this entire segment. Before I got this job, I've never used the phrase, I hate people. And I start to say that now. But don't you ever feel like, oh, I hate people because it's you're trying or you want to have fun or you bring receipts for a conversation you have and people, I think they love to criticize, judge, and mock. And I know that's not most people. It's just a lot of times those people are loud.
Yeah, those are the ones you need to just brush aside because they do not matter. It's kind of that simple.
That's
and
why
I know
I'm
it's hard to do that.
That's why I'm grateful for our texters like Pensacola Jones.
Oh, Pensacola
and
Jones checked
Harambe.
in?
I don't think so.
Oh.
Not today. But I mean in general. And Harambe.
Yeah.
And that guy that,
Big Blonde Dan?
well, Big Blonde Dan, and the guy that was going to tell his wife that the dog can't sleep in the bed anymore.
Oh, yeah.
And then he told her, and then
And then
we didn't hear from him for a week.
We got him in trouble.
We got him in trouble. But those guys are great.
Check in with us, 314-436-7900. Praise, compliments, or not. Whatever you want to say to
Not
us, you
too
can.
mean, though.
Whatever you want. We can handle it. It's Chris and Amy on KMOX.
New tax resolution firms are popping up every day with high-paid celebrity endorsers, advertising ridiculous claims in their TV ads. That's why they have the tiny, unreadable disclaimers at the bottom of the screen. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. Our ads never have those ridiculous, fast-talking, tiny disclaimers at the end because, simply put, there are no guarantees when it comes to the IRS and wiping out tax bills. And we don't make promises we can't keep. Of course, there are ways the Lance Drury Law Firm can help resolve your tax debt, but no company can guarantee it will eliminate it. This is why their clients call the Lance Drury Law Firm when those promises don't pan out. If you have tax problems, you have legal problems, call me, Lance Drury in St. Louis at 314-260-6120 or visit Lance, D-R-U-R-Y, law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Are you 50 or older? This news is for you. The CDC recommends you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at risk. People 50 or older are over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults 18 to 49. Just one shot can help protect you. Learn more and schedule at vaxassist.com. That's VAXassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
St. Louis has a voice.
KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
That voice has shared our stories from headline to history.
Swing and a home run to left. The first major league home run for Albert Pujols.
Among those voices, Dan Deerdorf.
Good football town with a lot of good football fans, and they deserve better than to have both of our teams lead.
Working at KMOX is an honor and a responsibility to represent this community. It's one we take seriously. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Midwest winters take a real toll on your garage door. Let my friends at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis come out and perform their 26-point tune-up on your garage door and opener. The work is guaranteed, and it's just one price for up to 3 garage doors and openers. No extra charge for evening or Saturday service. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, since 1926, 100 years. Schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. That's overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. I see clearly now thanks to the doctors, Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andy Royer. You can too. YourEyeDoc.com.
Built on a century. Focused on today. The voice of St. Louis. KMOX.
Chris and Amy on KMOX 104.1 FM. Gas House Gang is at 12 today. I've got Kevin Wheeler hanging out with me. We'll talk a little post-Super Bowl, and we will talk about the Billikens, who won again. We will talk about the Cardinals, who will start spring training officially this week. We are 4 days away from it. 4 days away from pitchers and catchers having their first official workout.
And you know what? Harambe checked in and said he's ready for baseball.
Harambe did check in.
Yes, he just checked in and said that he is ready for baseball, which is great. Hey, we were talking about Carissa Codell out of Springfield, Branson, Missouri, local news anchor, and how she took all of these stupid negative comments about her appearance and read them on air, showing that they have absolutely no power over her, which is so cool. And kudos to her. Well, I said, yeah, but female broadcasters, anchors, celebrities of any kind, I think face intense scrutiny about their appearance in every way. A 314 texted in, some years ago, a male news anchor was upset about his female colleagues getting harassed about their clothes, hair, etc. So he wore the same suit, shirt, and tie for several straight weeks. Not one single comment about his appearance. And they did a short story about the disparity between women getting criticized for their appearance versus men.
That did happen. I looked it up because I had not heard about this, but it was back in 2014. It was an Australian TV presenter. His name's Carl Stefanovich, and his co-host had gotten all these messages, and she had done a piece on it, and so he decided, I'm going to wear the same suit. He did it for a year. For 12 months, he wore the same blue suit. Now, it kind of looks like he changed up the tie and maybe the shirt, but he wore the exact same blue suit for 12 months and got zero messages about it. So I don't know if there's like is there some sort of illusion that happens when you wear a different tie? It looks like you got a completely different outfit on. So I mean, I'm trying to think if it's just straight up sexism, or if there's an optical illusion that happens where if you see a different tie, you just assume the whole outfit is different.
Well, I think
but
it could
either
be
way,
both. Yeah.
If people are nitpicking, they would have found it.
Yeah, I think
Right?
I think it could be both. It's wild to me what people nitpick. They're so excited to tell somebody how they said a word wrong or how what they wore was stupid. Not even inappropriate, just like, we don't like this outfit.
I'd rather you tell me if I say a word wrong. I'm okay with that.
But what if you didn't say it wrong?
Then I'll tell you
Or what
you
if
were
it
wrong.
what if it wasn't you? Because there's also a thing where
I love
every female on radio is me.
listen, there is a thing. I love nothing better than when somebody comes at me for a thing I said and I get to go, I didn't say that, dummy. You're thinking of somebody else and you need to listen better. You stupid idiot.
Oh, Raj.
Let's go to Jerseyville. Not
Hey.
literally, but we will talk to Marilyn, who joins us from Jerseyville. Hello, Marilyn.
Hi, I listen frequently, and I want to just comment, you can fix fat, but in the famous words of James White, you can't fix stupid.
Well, that is true. And I believe it's Ron White. Isn't it Ron White, the comedian? I think that's who she means.
Oh.
And I just
don't know.
corrected Marilyn.
Oh my gosh.
I did.
Well, there's
thanks,
Jim
Marilyn.
White,
We appreciate it.
Ron White, Johnny
Rabbit.
White. Is there Johnny White? I think of Johnny Weissmiller.
I don't have any idea who you're talking about.
Who's George of the Jungle?
But it doesn't matter if you can fix fat. Doesn't matter. You still don't need to comment on it. There's nothing that should compel you to reach out to a news lady and say, you know what, you are too big. Don't do that.
And do they do that to men? I don't think they do.
I think
Not
it
as much as
depends.
women.
I think it depends. If you irritates, okay, here's and tell me if I'm wrong. My guess is that people will randomly reach out to women and tell them they don't like how they look.
Yes.
When they do it to men, the man says something they don't like first, and then they reach out and say, yeah. You know what? You're fat.
Yeah.
I bet that's what happens most of the time. They wait until they
Yes.
object to something the man has done.
This could be like, I could do something.
And then they get personal.
Yeah, like a charitable commercial. And they'll say, I usually like you, but the way you said this word is actually not the accepted way. And I thought you were more literate than that. Or, which we've had, this is what you're wearing. Why are you wearing this during this commercial? It's not your best color. And you're like, why are you even telling me this? Uh-oh, a 636, Ranj.
God, what?
Car hauler Brad here.
Hey, car hauler Brad.
I once made fun of Ranji's glasses because it makes him look like a Democrat. He's a good guy, though. You're both great.
It's only Democrat. Well, Republicans don't care about their eyesight. Can't see a damn thing, but I'm getting them liberal glasses. What a stupid. Hey, Car Hauler Brad, we love you.
Car Hauler Brad is being nice.
He is.
I didn't know I have glasses.
Well, Ma can't see a damn thing. Honey, why don't you go to the eye doctor? I ain't looking like no liberal.
Oh, we have
What's the matter with you?
I kind of like it, though.
Oh, man.
Gosh. Jim White was a famous KMOX personality on Late Night, The Big Bumper.
So
yes,
did he say
yes,
the...
we know that. No, thank you. And yes, we do know that. Ronj was saying you can't fix stupid. I think that was Jim White. That's what our caller said, but I've never heard of Ron White, the guy that you brought up.
Okay, Ron White was on the Jeff Foxworthy tour with Larry the Cable Guy. What do they call themselves? Remember, there were four of them. They went on a tour together.
But it was Jim White because
was it the Redneck Comedy Tour? Is that what it was called?
Blue Collar Comedy.
Blue Collar Comedy.
I think they also said it, but it was Jim White who would say it.
And Ron White was the guy who would always hold a drink in his hand. You know, he was that guy.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure he said something like that.
So I know we've got a lot of Jim White texts, and thank you very much. And yes, definitely Jim White said that. But to Ronja's point, the Blue Collar Comedy Tour also said it, so that's why you were thinking of that. But Jim White said it first, or at least before.
We're all right.
Everybody's right. Because
or everybody's wrong, whatever.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Chris and Amy show on camp. Tater salad. That's what it was. That's what Ron White used to say. Tater salad. I don't know why.
A 618 texted that in.
Thank you to the texters. You could text the show too at 314-436-7900. The Super Bowl happened yesterday. We're going to talk to St. Charles native and football coverer, NFL writer for NBC Sports, Patrick Doherty joins the show when we come back on KMOX.
Spring training is here, and Cardinals baseball is heating up in Jupiter as young talent and big expectations take the field. The Gas House Gang is talking Cardinals all day long. Tom Ackerman, Chris Ranji, Bernie Miklasz. Smart takes, insightful analysis, real Redbird conversation. Plus, live reports from Camp Cardinals with Matt Pauley and Mike Claiborne. If it matters to Cards fans, it's on the Gas House Gang. Weekdays at noon on KMOX.
I'm John Morgan. There are many reasons to hire Morgan & Morgan for your injury case. Reason number 3. First, all lawyers are not the same. If my family had an injury case and I couldn't hire us, there are only about 3 to 4% of the lawyers out there that I would hire. And here's why. Most of them rarely, if ever, go to trial. They just take the last best offer. Hell, you can do that yourself. Do this. If you're looking for a lawyer, Google Morgan & Morgan results and see what comes up. It may shock you. Then Google the firm you're thinking of hiring and do the same. That may shock you as well. We became the largest injury firm in the world for a reason. We won a lot. $30 billion and counting. Morgan & Morgan, or thepeople.com. Who would I hire? I'd hire us.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
I don't see a cloud in the sky. 39 degrees, sunshine and warmer today, a high of 55. Tonight, clear with a low of 39. Weather sponsored by Financial and Tax Strategy.
Retirement shouldn't feel like balancing a checkbook while blindfolded. I'm Gary Goldberg, and my team helps you see the big picture so you can retire younger, richer, and with less anxiety. Because guessing is not a strategy. Tune in to Wealth and Wisdom with Gary Goldberg Saturday mornings at 7 here on KMOX.
It's time for a $98 Furnace tune-up.
What if every time you spent money, you saved money too? With Achieve It Checking from Together Credit Union, you can do just that. Every debit card purchase is rounded up to the nearest dollar, and the spare change goes right into your savings. And here's the best part. Together Credit Union boosts your progress by matching qualifying savings up to $8 a month. It's a free checking account that helps you achieve more automatically. Learn more, or better yet, enroll today at togethercu.org. Together Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
This is a test of the emergency alert system. This is only a test. This has been a test of the emergency alert system. This was only a test.
I got you something extra special for Valentine's Day.
Yeah?
How does a blow and go sound?
I like it.
Great. Air Comfort Service will be here on Monday.
Wait, what?
Our attic insulation is in bad shape. Air Comfort Service heating and cooling and insulation can top off our insulation with blow and go and make our home more energy efficient. We can save up to 30% on our energy bills.
I love it when you talk savings to me.
Schedule your blow and go attic installation from Air Comfort Service. Visit aircomfortservice.com/blow today.
Rush Hour Sports, Matt Pauley, Kevin Wheeler with you here.
Bernie Nicholas joins Rush Hour Sports tonight at 5 on America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
Super Bowl 60 is in the books, and the Seattle Seahawks have won. They have taken down the Patriots, and thank God. Oh, my God. Well, I was saved from a whole offseason of Patriots Super Bowl champions.
I will say
merch
this:
and
all of
visuals
all of our listeners are now
Yuck.
grateful because we would be subjected to your bad attitude.
Damn right. I would have had the worst attitude about that.
Oh my gosh, too much.
Anyway, or the only thing worse would have been if the Packers had won, but thankfully that didn't happen. Time to go to the guest line this morning on the Chris and Amy Show. NFL writer for NBC Sports and a St. Charles native is with us. Patrick Doherty joins the show. How's it going, Patrick?
Going great. I agree with you, too. If the Patriots had won, the true nightmare scenario, they could have credibly claimed that no one believed in them because no one did believe in them. And it turns out it was correct for no one to believe in them.
Wait, what year was that the Patriots leaned on that nobody believed in them?
What year? I think in more like what decade?
Do they do it all the time?
They'd be winning their third straight Super Bowl, and they'd be like, everyone thought we couldn't do it this time. And then they easily did it and then pretended that we didn't believe that was the case.
It's one of my favorite things in sports when people, athletes, teams, they invent slights so that they could play against that. Like Jordan was famous for that.
Jordan was famous for that. Our guy, Albert Pujols, was also famous for that. It worked too. So I guess if it works, more credit to you. But yeah, it did not. I tried to go contrarian and believe in the Patriots heading into this game because I was down on Super Bowl Radio Row in San Francisco talking to people all week, had several guests on our show. We could not get a single person to say, the Patriots at least have a chance. I had never remembered such a lopsided prediction market, I guess you want to call it, heading into a game. It just turns out it was completely accurate. And, could have made for a better game, but they kept it close enough to at least get my money's worth watching the game last night.
It was lopsided, but also understood that it would be a defensive battle. Is it unusual for a game to be that lopsided when they're expecting the defense to really drive the score?
It is. Yeah. Coming into the game, I was predicting what I just called a rock fight, and we definitely got that. But what I didn't think we would get is what we had been getting all postseason from the Patriots, because they'd played 3 straight elite defenses coming into the Super Bowl, had somehow won all 3 of those games. They had looked very unimpressive in the process, despite the victories. But, I was trying to find alibis for their play. They played 2 games in the swirling snowstorms. And Drake May had banged his shoulder. Their offensive line was 2 rookies who were kind of banged up. And they struck me as a team, you have 2 weeks to prepare for the Super Bowl. You get the bye week. I'm like, the Pats have kind of been through the crucible. They got some time to get healthy. It's a really smart, sophisticated coaching staff. They have time to review the film. I was expecting a really good New England game plan, and I bet they had one, but I had underestimated the Seahawks defense graded out as the best in the NFL by most advanced metrics, but most of standard metrics. They allowed the fewest yards in the league. And I had somehow, I think just because I wanted a close game, I had underestimated how truly daunting that Seahawks defense was. And it kind of seemed like no matter what the Patriots did, it wasn't going to work. And it was just never going to be their night.
Yeah, the game wasn't particularly good. No touchdowns scored until the fourth quarter. And then there were 30 points total scored in that fourth. But One of the bigger stories of the night was Sam Darnold, who ends up winning a Super Bowl. And this doesn't happen very often for people who don't watch a lot of football, for a quarterback to be let go, given up on by multiple teams, and then go to a Super Bowl and win it. It just doesn't usually happen very often.
No, and he'd been let go by two of the league's worst franchises, the Jets and the Panthers. He was let go then by two of the league's best franchises, the 49ers, who did not have a spot to play him. They already had Brock Purdy. That was understandable. Then you get the fateful decision by the Minnesota Vikings, who won 14 games with Sam Darnold last year. And that's going to be like a really interesting NFL sliding doors moment, because they thought they had their guy in J.J. McCarthy. Turns out they very much did not. I'm sure in their true worst nightmares, they were not expecting Sam Darnold to win a Super Bowl his first year away from the Seahawks. But Chris, I agree. We're almost underrating how crazy of a story like the Sam Darnold comeback is, because he was basically chased out of New York City. But then you look back, though, one of those Jets teams, wins are a team stat, but he went 7-6 as a quarterback one of those years. When he was in Carolina, he went 4-2 under an interim coach one year. And there were signs there that maybe we were underrating a guy who, a top 3 pick. He was the youngest quarterback in the NFL for like 1 or 2 seasons running. And there were signs, but like when you fail in a media market like New York, it's very hard for your people to adjust their perception of you. And like Sam Darnold, I think, was telling us for several years, like, listen, I'm actually a very good NFL quarterback. And now that has been confirmed in the most vivid way possible.
It's pretty impressive what he's done. And, absolutely, Seattle is a fantastic team. I'm wondering about Drake May, though, because, he was in the MVP conversation, regular season MVP all year long. And a lot of people think that he deserves that. What is he closer to? Is he closer to the regular season Drake May with those numbers, or closer to what we saw last night? Because he was terrible last night.
I think he's closer to the regular season version, because one of the rarest attributes for an NFL quarterback is a guy who can create offense all by himself, where like he doesn't have to rely on, say, like a weapon like Tyreek Hill. Not that Patrick Mahomes did that. He doesn't have to rely on his play calling. It's that when the team needs a big play, the quarterback, regardless of who the receivers are, regardless of who is calling the plays, can make that big play. And for a lot of the regular season, that was Drake May, like hitting bombs down the field to guys who are really just like replacement level receivers, like Kayshon Boutte, Matt Collins, really good at picking his spots of when to run. But he's still, despite being MVP runner-up, it was only his second year in the league. And for a second-year quarterback to be like the only guy capable of producing any offense, it's stunning. It worked for the first 3 games of postseason. Is this asking too much for basically a sophomore player to win a Super Bowl, what amounted to by himself on offense? I think we saw a guy who was a little ahead of schedule and facing 4 elite defenses, 4 elite game planners. And just when you ask someone to do it all by himself, you get things like he took 5 sacks all 4 games. He's fumbling the ball constantly because I think he knew he was the only option to really make a big play for the Patriots. And the formula worked for a surprisingly long time. It just finally came to an end in the Super Bowl.
So I have a gripe about the Super Bowl MVP. Kenneth Walker was great, but how do you not give it to the kicker?
Because
he was all of the points.
Jason Myers.
He was all of the points for the first 3 quarters.
I wish this were a joke. That was actually huge for me in a really obscure fantasy league I play. So I was loving the Jason Myers takeover. But the argument would be, like, good for him to make the kicks, but he wasn't the one getting him down there to set him up. He wasn't the one making the big plays on defense. He deserved credit because high-pressure situations, making 5 field goals in the biggest game of your life, no small feat. But I did agree, as much as Jason Myers personally benefited me, that he should not be game MVP.
Oh,
so we had
angry about it.
We had a texter earlier in our show when Ranj made his proposition that it should have been the kicker. And the texter said that picking the kicker as an MVP would have been the NFL admitting that the game was boring.
Yeah, that's 100% true. And kickers, people have like newfound respect for kickers. They're making 60-yard field goals fairly
regularly.
routinely, but he didn't even mix in one of those, though. High pressure, and that was the Super Bowl, but none of them were high pressure in like waning seconds of the first half, let alone waning seconds of the game. He was basically, I would say, you can't reward him for just doing his job.
I'm just saying there are 0 points in the game through 3 quarters without him. 0.
No, I have no comeback. I have no retort for that. That is true.
Could a retort be that he himself was not that special? As Patrick pointed out, he was doing his job, and a lot of kickers could have done what he did last night.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, because he was not even put in like what you'd call a high leverage situation. They're all fairly short field goals by today's NFL standards. And yeah, I mean, I think Jason Myers would even probably be like, yeah, I appreciate the thought, but yeah, no, I think Ken probably was more important to the effort tonight than I was. So.
I bet he's actually pissed. I bet he's been thinking about it. He can't even
Chris,
celebrate.
It's the kind of game too where you could have formed it was a game that lent itself to contrarian opinions on that kind of thing. Like you could make the argument. I do think the voters made the right decision, though.
You know how they continue. The game has evolved, and it's evolved in a way to increase offense, protect the quarterback, and so forth. And the hockey equivalent would be back in the early 2000s when they changed the rules to effectively eliminate the neutral zone trap because it's boring. And do you think a game like this?
You know, Amy, everything doesn't have to have a hockey equivalent.
That's why
I don't know that we need a hockey.
Everybody knows the neutral zone trap. It was so boring. They eliminated the 2-line pass. Do you think dominant defenses are going to lead to some kind of rule change again to keep increasing offense in the NFL?
I don't think they'll ever make rule changes in favor of the defense. That's just like fundamentally something leagues don't really do.
I mean, in favor of the offense. Sorry, you know what I mean? To stop dominant defense.
That does tend to be what happens in these situations. And I don't know how much more in favor of the offense the NFL could even take things, but this strikes me more as like a natural ebb and flow of defenses adjusting to what offenses have been doing. And I don't think there's like a crisis of NFL offense right now. But what happened was defenses just loaded up on smaller defenders, faster defenders to stop the pass. And finally the sophisticated coaching staffs went back in on the run game. The run, such an important part of so many of the best teams in the NFL these past few seasons, are the Chiefs, who we know a lot of St. Louis fans root for at this point. That was one of the big things that finally cost them. Like, we're talking about a quarterback having to do it all by himself. I mean, Patrick Mahomes just did not have a running game the past 2 years. And I haven't seen anything. It's not like there's some trend, like the defense, like one of the big rule changes in the NFL, of course, after the Rams-Patriots Super Bowl in 2002, and the Patriots DBs were just mugging the Rams receivers and was legal at that time. I don't think there's even like any low-hanging fruit like that they could pick to help offense. And I think they're just going to rely on, there's an ebb and flow going on. The offenses are already kind of adjusting. Maybe if we get another year like this year in 2026 where defenses aren't just playing better, they're dominating, they'll try to find something. But I haven't heard of any like low-hanging fruit they might try to pick in that regard.
So who's going to buy the Seahawks now?
That's a good, they claim they're not officially for sale. I think that's going to change this week. We're running low on like single individuals who can even afford these teams at this point. It seems like it's more going to like the Dodgers model in every league where it's some kind of consortium. They pick a front person. But what does it even sell for, Chris? $8-9 billion?
It's got to be.
A big market, an extremely wealthy market, now a Super Bowl winning team. Maybe we'll reach $10 billion. It could be stunning. There's a few people in America who can afford that, but I think it's going to be one of these like anonymous ownership groups. I don't even know who even is the point person for the Dodgers. So I think it could be a situation like that where we don't even really have like necessarily a face of the Seahawks. Although the NFL ownership model actually does dictate that you must have a face, but that's my very long-winded way of saying I do not know.
I think Magic should try to buy him now. Magic should try to buy.
What puts it in perspective,
and then tweet stuff like, "Boy, the Super Bowl champion Seahawks, they're really good at football. I was watching the game, and I've come to the determination they're really good at football."
I think what puts into perspective on how wealthy these owners are and how expensive the teams are is I don't think Taylor Swift could afford a team right now.
She definitely could.
She only has
unfortunately, no.
Taylor
no.
Swift only has like $1 or $2 billion. That's not even close.
She's still like a good 5 or 6 short.
Isn't that unbelievable?
Yeah.
It is. She could be a minority owner, have 2 to 3% of the team. That's probably about the best she could hope for, is like a Tom Brady style minority ownership, where I got 2% of the Seahawks.
That
Patrick,
blows my mind.
Are you now ready? Even though you cover football, are you now ready for baseball?
I'm so ready. Going to be tuning into KMOX. The baby birds, expectations are not very high. I'm still excited. We quote unquote, I'm about to say we, Cardinal sin of journalism. The Cardinals already let the young guys play last year, but even more so this year. I'm one of those people, unfortunately, when the Cardinals are bad, it makes me care more instead of care less. Because like every game, when the Cardinals are good, like we lose, like, oh, whatever, we'll get them tomorrow night.
Mm-hmm.
Now when they're bad, like this is where the comeback starts. And like, so counterintuitively, it makes me care more, not less. And I wish that were not the case.
I see you're a true fan, and now we know that. Patrick Doherty, it's good to talk to you. Thank you for being with us again.
Always my pleasure. Thank you.
Patrick covers the NFL for NBC Sports, also from St. Charles, Missouri. It is the Chris and Amy show, and the Olympics are ongoing. The Winter Games are happening right now. And you know why betting that makes sense on FanDuel? Well, from game lines to medal counts to finding your angle on the events you care about most, FanDuel gives you more ways to stay connected to the action. Yes, the Winter Games are well underway, and there is not a better way to follow them than with a bet on FanDuel. How about curling? You into that? You can get down with that if you want. Speed skating, hockey, which will be ongoing for quite some time, bobsled, luge, whatever it is you like, you can bet it all on an easy-to-use and really secure app. FanDuel.com/Missouri. Get yourself started. That is FanDuel.com/Missouri and get started. FanDuel is the official sportsbook partner of KMOX. FanDuel, play your game. 21 and over, you must be that or present in Missouri. Actually, gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey, this is Charlie Brennan. If it's cold outside, the team at Morelli Tuck Pointing is still busy. During colder months, Morelli can inspect any exposed brick inside your house. If your basement has a stone or black wall, Morelli can remove the worn-out mortar from that wall and replace it with new mortar. This tuck pointing work will reinforce your foundation, prevent water from entering your home, and thwart pests. This is a great time to get the inside of your garage inspected. And the same goes for your brick or stone fireplace. I've used Morelli Tuck Pointing to repair the chimneys, walkways, and walls of 2 homes here in St. Louis. The Morelli bids are fair, their crews are super polite, and they clean their job sites. Don't take my word for it. Check out the reviews on Google. Winner of the BBB Torch Award and the Next Door Neighbor Fave Award, 35 years in business, an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau, 314-645-1387, MorelliTuckPointing.com.
Every spring brings promises, and every spring delivers surprises. This year, the Cardinals are writing a new story, and there will be plenty of surprises. Matt Pauley is in Jupiter with inside access to Camp Cardinals.
Presented by St. Louis Composting. Composting, growing gardens and making memories. And Happy Roof. We always create happy endings.
From breakout performances to roster revelations, get reports throughout the day on the voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
I built this business the old-fashioned way. Hard work and a whole lot of spreadsheets.
Yeah, about that, I upgraded us to Odoo. Odoo puts everything we need. Sales, inventory, accounting on one connected platform. No more juggling systems, no more headaches.
So it all works together?
Exactly.
Odoo is the all-in-one business software that makes running and passing on a business easier than ever. Take your business into the next generation. Try Odoo free at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. You know, the big wireless companies say they have discounts for people over 55. But unless you're willing to sit on hold and ask, you're probably paying more than you should. At Consumer Cellular, there's nothing to hunt down. We're built for people 50 plus with plans starting at just $20. And our 100% US-based customer service actually answers the phone. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today and get your second month free for a limited time.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Barnes Jewish Hospital and WashU Medicine physicians have long been leaders in heart and vascular care. Now, we're taking the patient experience to another level by opening our new state-of-the-art patient tower, designed specifically with heart patients in mind. By combining the latest technology with thoughtful design and private rooms, heart patients can experience faster healing, reduce stress, and improved outcomes. Learn more at barnesjewish.org/heart.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler here. I want to tell you about 213 Complex, and you can pick that up at supplement superstores. And quite simply, 213 Complex is the most effective and powerful all-natural weight loss supplement ever developed. Here's what it's doing for me and what it'll do for you. Boost the metabolism, gets it working at full go all the time. Helps with cravings, and man, that's a big deal for me. All-day focus energy with no jitters, no crash at the end of the day. It's a great tool for achieving your goals. Get out to supplement superstores. Tell them Kevin Wheeler sent you in. They will knock 30% off your 213 Complex, and you can find your location at supplementsuperstores.com. Hi, it's Kevin Wheeler here with Gloria Liu of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Welcome back, Gloria. For years now, you've been on KMOX helping families plan their next big move with your Guaranteed Sold program. So for those planning to sell their home this year, what's your best advice?
Thank you. My advice is simple. Do your homework before listing your home. Our market is stabilizing, inventory is tightening and moving fast. In other words, the realtor you choose to sell your home really matters. That's why my sellers love my Guaranteed Sale program. I guarantee to sell your home at your agreed upon price and time frame, or I will buy it myself. I have thousands of buyers in my buyers in waiting database, so your home may already been sold before it's ever hit the market. Higher demand, more competition, and more money for your home.
Friends, if you want a realtor who will guarantee results, call the one that I trust. Gloria Liu at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888. Or GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Chris and Amy Show on KMOX, and the Billikens did it again, Amy. They did it again. They keep winning. They were down. They came back. They are now 23-1. In about an hour, I guess about an hour, yeah, it should be around 12 o'clock, we will have the new top 25 rankings. The Billikens, as you may already know, it cracked the top 25, and now we're just waiting to see how high up they're going to get. They were 19. They moved up a couple of spots to get to 19. They have won a couple of games since then. And for people who are not really closely paying attention to college basketball, maybe you sort of know, but you're not really, and maybe around tournament time, you get into it a little bit more. There's a thing called the net rankings, which is something that does get used when the selection committee gets together at the end of the season, and they determine which teams get to be in the NCAA tournament in addition to those who have won their conference tournaments and get an automatic bid. And, of course, the Billikens are going to be favored, I would think, to win their conference tournament, the A-10, but there's no guarantee they actually will. So if they're not able to, they will have to rely on getting what is called an at-large bid. So that means the committee gets together and says, all right, Billikens, they played great, got to put them in the tournament. But they do look at the net ranking, and they are 15th in that now. So they have moved up a spot. They were 16th at last check. They're playing really well. And we're getting ready for Cardinal season here. On Thursday, officially pitchers and catchers are going to have their first workout. And some guys have already been there in the spring training facility in Florida, getting ready for the season. But this is officially spring training starts this week. We know the Cardinals are probably not going to be especially good this year. The Blues have not been good. It is so nice to have the Billikens doing what they're doing. And I know we say this all the time, but it doesn't get any less true as the weeks go on. It gets truer and truer, actually. They keep playing well. They keep winning. It's awesome, man.
It's fun.
I love it. I love that this is happening. We'll talk Billikens. We'll talk Cardinals. We'll talk Super Bowl. The Gas House Gang, Kevin Wheeler and me, we'll get together at 12 o'clock, and we will have those Associated Press rankings and see where the Billikens land. Final hour of the Chris and Amy show is next. Super Bowl ads. Did you see any you like? Did you see any you hate? Let us know what you think. 314-436-7900. Text in or leave a message on the Odyssey app. It's Chris and Amy on KMOX.
The Missouri Valley Conference men's basketball tournament has been the showcase for buzzer beaters, madness, and championship glory. With nearly 5 decades of heart-racing excitement, it begins here at Enterprise Center. The 2026 State Farm MVC Tournament, presented by Credit Union One, Great Southern Bank, and SSM Health, tips off on March 5th through 8th. Celebrate 50 years of the Valley's postseason championship. Get your tickets now at archmadness.com.
When it comes to planning your retirement, there's a lot to think about. Portfolio management, tax planning, and retirement income just to get started. Steve All and his team at the All Financial Group focus on those things and more. Their goal is to help you achieve your goals. Call 636-230-8824 or online, yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Steve All, NPN number 153-07419.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
That's the sound of James adding long-lasting Gain scent boosters to his laundry this morning. Several hours later, James sniffs the irresistible scent of Gain on his shirt. Gain. Several hours later, James has even caught the attention of his mother-in-law, and she never gives him attention.
Ooh, you smell amazing, James.
Oh, thanks, Mom. I love you too.
I never said that.
Add Gain scent boosters to your laundry. Add joy to your day.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Hey, it's Dave. Right now, buy 2 windows and get 2 free and 0% financing for 36 months, plus $500 off your project. Call 314-334-2522. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
At Graybar, we know your time is money. That's why our services go beyond parts and products. With kitting, pre-assembly, wire carts, and Graybar smart reels that keep you moving. We stage materials and manage logistics so you can spend less time sorting and more time installing. And with locations nationwide, we deliver when and where you need it, working to make your job easier every step of the way. Yep, Graybar does that.
It is 11 o'clock and we've got sunshine, 41 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterey. The future of data centers in St. Charles could be decided soon after hundreds of St. Charles residents packed the convention center last August to oppose a massive data center proposal. Officials put a 1-year moratorium in place. The latest proposal would make that moratorium permanent. The Planning and Zoning Commission is holding a public hearing on that proposed ban tonight at 6 at City Hall. The proposed ban would allow smaller data centers and server rooms, but not the 285,000 square foot 5-building center that was proposed last year. A new study published in Nature Medicine finds that AI chatbots may not help members of the public make better decisions about their health in everyday situations. One of the study authors, Professor Adam Mahdi, explains.
And this dramatic and dangerous inconsistency just illustrates some of the issues of the interaction of humans with chatbots.
President Trump keeping Republicans guessing when it comes to the 2026 midterms. CBS's Stacey Lynn has more from the White House.
According to the Washington Post, that uncertainty is raising eyebrows inside the GOP. Despite a massive campaign fund of over $300 million, the president hasn't outlined how he plans to spend it or which candidates he'll back in key races.
Meanwhile, Senator Edward Markey of Massachusetts expected to introduce a resolution today denouncing President Trump's call to Republicans to nationalize or take over voting in a dozen key states before the midterms. Markey warns that any president attempting to nationalize or commandeer state-run elections, well, that action, he says, would be unconstitutional, illegal, and without effect, and also impeachable. Sunday was a big day for the Humane Society of Missouri. Chief Communications Officer Laura Keller says they had 3 players this year in the Puppy Bowl.
And I think it's the first time we've had all 3 of our players on the same team, and that team won.
Team Fluff featured Paris Cheesecake, who got a profile story about her rescue from a hoarding situation last year, and
Boba, who scored 2 touchdowns in the first quarter and went on to be named Puppy Bowl's MVP this year. So we were thrilled. We've never had an MVP.
Tomorrow is the Humane Society's annual day of giving to raise money for their animal cruelty task force. From the KMOX business desk, the world's biggest social media companies face several landmark trials this year. Opening statements for the first in Los Angeles County Superior Court begins this week. Instagram parent company Meta and Google's YouTube will face claims that their platforms deliberately addict and harm children. TikTok and Snap, originally named in the lawsuit, settled for undisclosed sums. These cases mark the first time the companies will argue their case before a jury, and the outcome could have a profound effect on their businesses and how they will handle children using their platforms.
Bright and sunny this afternoon, turning breezy and milder with time, high 54. Tonight will be mainly clear, low 45. Sunshine and some clouds tomorrow, high 61. Wednesday, more sun than clouds, cooler, high 51. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now it's 41 degrees with sunshine. I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up. From now on, if you sprang a leak, need a water heater, or have hard water,
Thanks for calling Jerry Kelly Heating, Air, Plumbing, and Electrical.
Jerry Kelly will fix the leak, install the thing, and make that hard water easy. From the company who's got your whole home covered.
JerryKelly.com. Chris Ranji, Amy Marks Kors. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Chris Ranji, Amy Marks Scores with you. And by golly, we've talked about the Super Bowl. We broke down the defensive schemes. There was a lot of scheming going on.
Way
we haven't
too
talked
much
about the
scheming.
commercials yet.
We didn't talk
We did the
about
halftime
commercials.
show. We did the alternative halftime show, but not the commercials.
We didn't talk commercials. And I have one prevailing thought, which we'll get to.
I was going to ask you.
Oh, you want to do it now?
Quick prevailing thought, yes.
Way too much AI.
Yeah.
Not just in AI advertising, but in what appeared to be AI generated or enhanced content. It was very clearly done that way.
Yeah.
So I actually really did like the Dunkin' Donuts commercial with Ben Affleck. And they had Costanza there. And they had Urkel in it. So like all the 1990s sitcom people were in one commercial, but they used all of them. They made them all look young, like Jennifer Aniston and Ben and George, and it was all artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
And the Jurassic Park commercial where they went back to the park and they euthaned all of them too.
You can't say euthanized. That's not what they did.
They did not euthanize them.
They euthaned them.
I thought both commercials were clever.
Yeah.
I just hated the fact there was so much AI in enhancing them. I hated it.
Yeah, we actually
Because it didn't look good.
We have a texter that said they hated all of the AI commercials. And I was unimpressed, a little depressed by some of what we're advertising. But the one commercial I thought was really good, and I think it was AI, like it was all digital, but I liked it. It was the Coca-Cola polar bear doing a blind taste test, but he grabs Pepsi. And he takes his blindfold off and he's just heartbroken. He's devastated. What did I do? So then he goes to therapy and he's like walking around all sad.
Yeah.
And then he meets a lady polar bear and she's drinking Pepsi. So they have Pepsi together. And you're thinking that's the punchline, is that the polar bear is drinking Pepsi. Oh, no, you're wrong. The last scene of the commercial is they're at a concert and then it scans to the Jumbotron and the two polar bears are drinking Pepsi because they've been caught on the Jumbotron cheating on Coke. That's pretty clever. That's
extremely
a funny, understated, zero dialogue commercial.
I loved that one.
That was pretty good.
Okay, so that was another good one. I probably should have mentioned that one. But that was the Pepsi ad, right?
Yes.
It was actually a Pepsi ad. It wasn't Coca-Cola.
And I was like, can they use the Coke polar bear? And my brother said, I don't think they can patent or have, trademark on a polar
I don't
bear.
think that you can. Yeah, I don't think you get to patent an animal.
But that's the Coke polar bear.
Maybe if it's a particular design, but no, that was a really good one. And I thought there were some good spots. I know that one of our messages here loved the Busch beer commercial. And I'm assuming they're talking about the young Clydesdale and the young American Eagle. In the end, the American Eagle flies up and it gives you all your American pride. And that was a good one too. It really does bother me that, and I'm hoping that what has happened here is there isn't actual human talent, people with skills that have been replaced by AI. So we've talked about the commercials. I liked the Dunkin' commercial. I like the concept of it. I like the concept of the Jurassic Park commercial. But I hope the workforce on putting those commercials together wasn't minimized. I hope they didn't take humans away from the project because they had AI doing all the work. You know what I mean? And I don't know that to be true. I'm not exactly sure how it all was created, but I hate the thought that some artificial intelligence helped make those spots instead of people.
Big Blonde Dan said that the AI Guy Fieri as the normal guy,
now that was actually very funny,
should have come with a warning label. It is wild though.
I'm glad he brought that one up because at first I was like, is that really his face?
I know,
without the goatee and with a normal haircut.
Guy Fieri, everybody knows from the Food Network,
the spiky
diners,
blonde hair.
Yeah, diners, drive-ins, and dives. He has spiky bleached white hair. He always wears the bowling, like flaming bowling shirts, and they gave him dark hair and they parted it on the side and combed it.
They made it. He just looks like an average guy.
He does.
Now that was also very clever.
Yeah.
I like that commercial.
A texter liked the Ben Stiller and Benson Boone commercial where Benson Boone does a backflip. So then Ben Stiller climbed up on multiple staircases and backflipped and crashed. That was early on. That was at the very beginning.
Okay.
Yeah. So a lot of commercials, as you mentioned, overwhelmingly made by AI or advertising AI and AGI, which I guess is
it's a company.
Well,
isn't it?
No, there's it was like Google AGI, where it is the closest thing to sentient. It's where it's making decisions. Or as my one family member called it, AKA the end of the world.
No.
That's what he called it. And Wegovy and weight loss pills, a lot of weight loss. Everything was GLP-1s. But Matt brought up the Ring camera commercial, which I had to go back and watch because I missed it. And Matt, what was it about the commercial that you didn't like?
It's weird. So the premise of it is that if you lose your pet and you have a Ring camera, the Ring camera will pick up the dog, running across the yard or whatever. But, other people's Ring cameras can also capture that dog on video.
You type into your Ring camera app that my dog is lost.
Yes. And I guess you can describe the dog, golden retriever, small, I don't know. But it can send an alert to all other Ring cameras. And then they can, I don't know how that technology works exactly based off a 30-second ad, but other people's Ring cameras can then activate to look for the dog, which is so weird.
Can you play that audio?
Yes, I can. Yep.
This is Milo. Pets are family. But every year, 10 million go missing. And the way we look for them hasn't changed in years. Until now. One post of a dog's photo in the Ring app starts outdoor cameras looking for a match. Search Party from Ring uses AI to help families find lost dogs. Since launch, more than a dog a day has been reunited with their family. Be a hero in your neighborhood with Search Party. Available to everyone for free right now. Join the neighborhood at ring.com.
So
Search Party.
you type in golden retriever, this color, or well, obviously golden retriever, this size, and then it activates. But it's also called Search Party. And there's something. This won't be abused right?
What are you guys doing tonight? Going to a search party?
Doesn't it creep you out?
Well, I feel
Why
like
can't what if your lady friend's like,
I haven't seen Chris in a while.
And she
Well,
types
search party for Chris.
And you know who you should do this with?
What?
That neighbor that parks in your spot but won't park in front of his own house.
If I ever break into that car and hotwire it, I'm going to drive it into the river.
No, that's not what I said to
I'm
do.
going
See,
to.
you took it too far. Type into your Ring his appearance and see if he's stepping out.
I bet. Oh.
That's what I mean.
And then go to his significant other and say, look what he's been doing.
Listen, in some ways, it's good that we have cameras. We have cameras on our phones.
Mm-hmm.
Think of everything that's going on in the country, what we would not know if you didn't have people with camera phones filming what's going on. So in that way, it's really good. With the Ring cameras, which I know can be used to help deter crime and to find porch pirates or people who break into houses and criminals, there's something a little creepy about this panopticon world we've created where there are cameras on every door and every corner. And now you can type in the description of like a dog and then all those cameras activate.
Panopticon.
I don't know how I feel about that either.
And it's called Search Party.
Is
Why
it
does it
worth-
creep me out?
Is it worth being able to find Max to have this in our world?
Well, don't phrase it that way because people would do anything for their dogs.
Yeah, but you would do anything for your dog. I wouldn't do anything for your dog.
Can I
Yeah,
turn
but
off my Ring camera from finding your dog? Like,
I'm sure you can opt out of
Yeah.
it. You would have to be able to.
Now, they have like neighborhood fire watch where your AI Ring camera can detect flames or smoke during active fire events, and then it will notify all the other Ring cameras. So I understand how there are certain benefits. Anyone can make the argument that, this keeps us safe. But also, privacy is important, and I don't think we have any privacy anymore.
I don't know that I'm willing to give up that much more. For the most part, I don't know. I guess out of principle, I like the idea of having my privacy. But there are certain things that I personally don't care about. Like, I don't really care if my neighbors have well, maybe I do now that I'm saying it out loud. I don't think I want my neighbors to know my whereabouts all the time. Right?
Have you ever picked your nose on a doorstep before they answer the door?
No.
Don't do
Amy,
that.
I have not picked my nose on a doorstep.
What if you feel something in your nose and they're about to answer the door? You got to hurry up. Take care of business.
You snot rocket right outside.
Well, now they're going to see that.
They'll probably be impressed.
I want to tell you guys that my friends who have Ring cameras are now like more, I don't know about paranoid, but they're more aware of what's going on. Like they'll check their Ring app on their phone. Oh my gosh, there's a notification. There's movement. Oh, it's just the Amazon guy. Like, and they'll do that multiple times.
Yeah.
It may be more anxiety
Yes,
inducing
yes.
than it is helpful.
Yeah, just when it's out of sight, it's out of mind. You don't
Now-
need to know what's going on in your front door 24/7.
Now, of course, you're going to be thankful if it does catch
Yes.
something important, but 95% of the interactions on it are just creating more
Yeah,
anxiety
I
for
agree.
you.
Now, we do have a 636 that says with this Ring Search Party, maybe use that app to find Chris's wife and kids.
You can't. We're not connecting all of the rings from here to Chicago. We're not doing that. I would also like to give an honorable mention
Mhm.
to the Relax. It's a blood test prostate cancer screening
With all
commercial.
with all the tight ends.
All the tight ends.
Get it?
You can loosen up your tight ends. And I'm at the Super Bowl party last night. By the way, dominated the drinking game.
Oh, what was the drinking game?
It was the one that my
that they
friends
sent the rules to?
that we got the rules sent to us in the group text ahead of the thing. Because you know how Pajeski and I despise
Games.
drinking games.
Like you want to sit
and
around
games
and
at
talk.
a party. Yes. Because then the whole party becomes the game. Anyway, I dominated. I was forced into playing. I dominated.
Can you give us one hint? Well, save
So
that
it was
for
a
later.
it was a football. So you held 5 cards.
Yeah.
I forgot what it was called. And every time something happens, like there's a rushing first down, you get a point and you have to take a drink. Or during the commercials, one of them was the commercial with an animal in it. And the polar bear commercial got me a point.
Nice.
Anyway, I was dominating, and then we just kind of stopped playing. However, that commercial came on, the one that we're talking about with the blood test, the prostate cancer screening. And I've told the story about how I went in for my physical last year. And, you know, I'm at the age, I kind of figure I need to get the prostate exam. Isn't it time? And so he does the whole physical, and he works up, he does a blood work order. And I said, hey, do I need the prostate, the thing with the finger, And he's like, oh, no. They do that with blood tests now. And I was like, oh, okay. And he goes, I mean, I could do the other thing if you want. And I said, no, I don't want you to do it. But that commercial really spoke to me last night, because it is telling people that you can just go to the website, relaxitsabloodtest.com.
That's really funny.
And I thought that was really clever, because I didn't know that. I didn't know that they were trying to raise awareness about it, that you can get your prostate examined and you don't have to do the finger.
Well, not only that, clever because they used a bunch of tight ends. Relax,
Very
it's
funny.
a blood test, but also one of the descriptions was it's a finger-free test.
I know. Very clever.
They said that on the commercial.
And I guarantee they got a lot of traffic as a result of that. And people are going to get checked out, and all good things will come of it. I love it.
We have a 618. We were talking about the Ring camera and privacy. It says, you don't give up privacy. It gets slowly stripped through without you fully aware.
Yeah.
Real boiling frog scenario. It's true and also depressing.
And just so you know, we are watching you. We know if you're listening to us. We know if you're not. We know if you're not watching on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter, the Chris and Amy Show.
Just think, somebody said this about Santa Claus, and he's like, you should make that a song. It's creepy.
And here's another thing that you should know. If you don't start listening, you know what you're going to see in your Ring camera? My face.
No, Ron,
I'll be at your doorstep.
Threats.
I will be at your doorstep if you don't start listening to the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
St. Louis has a voice.
KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
That voice has shared our stories from headline to history.
An afternoon programming for American radio. The program is called At Your Service.
Among those voices, Mike Kelly.
Kaufman at the 11. Kaufman hurdles man at the 5, fighting for the end zone. Touchdown, Missouri!
Working at KMOX is an honor and a responsibility to represent this community. It's one we take seriously. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Race to savings for your next project when you shop at Menards. Get the comfort and support you need with a new mattress from Serta. Find the perfect mattress for a deep and restorative night's sleep. Take control of your sleep and save big money on Serta mattresses now at Menards. Plus, view our weekly flyer on menards.com and race to savings on more great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
What's up, everybody? I'm Nick Costos, and watching sports isn't a hobby, it's a lifestyle. And my show is not a job, it's a passion. From the NFL playoffs to the NBA and everything in between, celebrate sports with me every day on You Better You Bet from 9 a.m. to noon Eastern. Download the Odyssey app now and listen to Westwood One Sports from anywhere. It's You Better You Bet with me, Nick Costos, live and interactive Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to noon Eastern, presented by BetMGM.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Oh, how's that flu, babe? Did you take Dayquil Intense Flu yet?
Nah, I got this. Ugh, okay, I don't got this.
You stay on the couch, and I'll grab the Dayquil.
Undo your flu symptoms with Dayquil Intense Flu. Dayquil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms.
I'm ready for that to-do list.
Wow, you do got this.
Dayquil Intense Flu. The daytime coughing, aching, fever, under your flu medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Are you 50 or older? This news is for you. The CDC recommends you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at risk. People 50 or older are over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults 18 to 49. Just one shot can help protect you. Learn more and schedule at vaxassist.com. That's VAXassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
It's Tom Ackerman for Ophthalmology Associates, the doctor's doctors, 314-966-5000 or online at youridoc.com.
One city, one voice. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
We were talking about the Ring camera search party and how it seems like an invasion of privacy. We had a texter say that ICE has access to the company behind the Ring software. You guys are thinking way too small scale for just catching people cheating. And yes, no, that's kind of what we alluded to before the cheating conversation, which that was a joke about some guy that parks on Ranji's street.
Yeah.
But no, that's what I mean is I don't like the term search party. And with everything that's going on in Minnesota, they could do that for ICE. You could do it, I mean, for any of us.
Yeah,
you know,
I don't,
something icks me out about it.
Don't like the thought of being in the comfort of your own home. Like, I don't know if I think those people look a little South American to me or Central American.
Right.
Let me go ahead and, I don't know if I feel comfortable with that.
Also, we had a texter ask about thoughts on Lindsey Vonn, which is great timing because I did want to bring it up. I think I was more excited. I almost tweeted it, but I didn't. Are you more excited to watch the Super Bowl or watch Lindsey Vonn race? And I was very excited. I wanted so badly for her to do well. Unfortunately, I knew I was going to watch it recorded that morning, but I woke up to use the restroom at like 4:45 a.m. or 5 a.m. and she had already raced. And my Wall Street Journal push notifications, Lindsey Vonn has crashed. I thought, oh my gosh, I was so excited to watch this race. And you have to give her so much credit for what it takes not only to come back at the age of 41, which is harder to, your body just doesn't respond and recover like it does in your 20s and 30s. But for her to race, and of all the stories I've read, her crash 13 seconds into the race had nothing to do with her torn ACL, is that she was going out so hard. She took that initial turn jump really hard, hit the gate with her ski pole. And when you hit the gate and you're airborne, your balance is off, right? There's nothing you can do to fix your balance once you're airborne. So I was so sad for her, but also so much admiration for her that she went out and did it. It's like, for me, the man in the arena quote of Teddy Roosevelt, like, it's better to have tried and failed than to never have gone out and put yourself out there and tried. So I feel sad for her. Her career's over. She had two surgeries on her leg, but it is insane to me to watch the downhill skiers. They show the speed that they're skiing downhill and the distance when they go airborne occasionally. These are the downhill skiers, not the ski jumpers. They'll hit 90 miles an hour plus. 90 miles an hour on
It's like
skis.
ice. I mean, the snow is it's not ice, but it's pretty damn close.
I don't like to drive 90 miles an hour.
Right.
They're ski 90 miles an hour, and then when they go over like an edge, they are airborne for over half a football field at times. 50 yards. And there was one Italian skier, and the commentators were saying, well, she's doing pretty well. We're glad she's out here, but she crashed over a year ago. And like so many skiers, after they crash, she hasn't gotten her nerve back. That was the quote. And it felt harsh. I know it's probably true, but it feels harsh that she hasn't gotten her nerve back.
And that's a problem too, because if you don't have that, that is one great way to get hurt.
Yeah.
if you're still timid, especially doing that, they talk about it in football. They talk about it in other sports, contact sports, where if you're just afraid getting hit the wrong way, that you're going to end up ultimately getting yourself hurt just by trying to be too careful.
Yeah, it is. But also, I don't understand how they are brave enough to go down the mountain at that speed. And one of the commentators, former skiers, said, you have to just kind of lie to yourself and say, it's not going to happen to me. You have to look at other people crashing and think,
that's right.
Well, that's them. Maybe they did something wrong. It doesn't happen to me, because everything in your body, every survival instinct that you have is telling you, do not go down this mountain at 90 miles an hour. Did you notice they have little airbags on their chests and back now that several years ago they did make it mandatory? So one of the skiers crashed on the same spot, actually, that Lindsey Vonn crashed, or near the same spot. And her very tight ski outfit was kind of puffy on top. And they go, well, you can see how her bib number's pushed out and her uniform looks funny. The airbags can tell when you change motion suddenly, or you do a motion that's not compatible with skiing, and they inflate to help protect back and chest injuries.
It's like that technology for the older people. You've seen it where they are wearing,
Yes.
I don't think you can actually buy it. It's like a prototype.
It's like a full body airbag.
It's a full body airbag that it detects whether or not you're falling. And if you are, it just
and you
automatically,
bounce off the ground.
it covers your head and covers
Yeah.
your entire body. But that's what the skiers get on a smaller scale. It's pretty cool.
It is. And it did inflate. I cannot process it. 90 miles an hour.
Well, as you know, Amy is against the future. And she is so anti-data center, she can't even stand it. Well, we're going to talk to a St. Louis City planning executive, Miriam Keller, and sustainability director, Eliza Russell, about data centers and new rules for St. Louis and how data centers might be built in the future. We're going to talk about that with them when we come back on KMOX.
Hey guys, it's Dave from The Glover Show, trying to explain The Glover Show. So when I was a younger man, I used to go to happy hour almost every night, and I loved it. And I've always thought of my show as being like happy hour. It's always interesting. It's often silly, but not always. There are real things to talk about. I am amongst friends, politics, and personal things. So that's what it is, really. It's happy hour for thousands of us every day between 1 p.m. and 5 p.m. And I hope you'll tune in and join the happy hour.
Thank you, St. Louis, for making Genesis of St. Charles your most trusted and #1 Genesis dealer in Missouri for 2026. We know your time is valuable. That's why every purchase comes with 3 years of complimentary Genesis Service Valet. Unlock your e-price and save. That means complimentary vehicle pickup and delivery, plus a loaner vehicle at no additional cost. Or want something new? We'll bring the test drive to you. Visit genesisofstcharles.com today. Based on GMA sales records for 2025. See dealer for details.
Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
Nothing but sun out there. 42 degrees, sunshine, warmer today. A high of 55. Tonight, clear. A low of 39. Weather sponsored by Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm.
At Sandberg Phoenix, we're more than just a law firm. We're partners committed to you, your business, and your community. From family law to litigation, we're ready to serve. Visit sandbergphoenix.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
For decades, Morgan & Morgan has represented hundreds of thousands of people at their hour of need. Injuries on the job, car crashes, medical malpractice, and nursing home abuse, Social Security claims, dangerous drugs, and dangerous products. We became America's largest injury firm for a reason, and no firm is even close. Then we got to thinking, what if we could prevent these terrible events before they occurred? So we built the AI-powered People Protector. Simply visit peopleprotector.com and type in the product you have questions about before you buy it. Children's toys and accessories, cars, drugs, products, you name it, we got it. With our success, we decided to pay it forward for all of America. Our way of saying thank you for your trust all these years. Morgan & Morgan, protecting America. And if you've already been injured, just visit us at forthepeople.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10, $20, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-894-7722. That's 800-894-7722. Again, 800-894-7722.
Hey, St. Louis City SC fans, mark your calendars now. The Boys in Red return to Energizer Park to kick off Season 4 Saturday, February 21st. And you could be there for the dawn of a new golden era of St. Louis soccer. Go to stlcitysc.com/tickets and reserve your seat now for the MLS home opener versus Charlotte FC. Limited quantities remain. See you soon, St. Louis.
Wait, Corey from Air Comfort Service? What are you doing in my basement?
Standing behind our work.
It's 9 p.m.
At Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Installation, we take pride in our work. If you need heating service, no matter the time of day or night, we're here to help with 24/7 emergency service.
So you're just going to stand behind my furnace?
Yeah, pretty much.
Can you hand me those paper towels then?
Absolutely. For heating service or HVAC maintenance, visit aircomfortservice.com. That's aircomfortservice.com.
Hey, it's Matt Pauley. Cardinals pitchers and catchers are about to report to spring training in Jupiter, Florida, and I'll be there bringing you everything you need to know.
Listen for Matt's reports throughout the day, starting Tuesday. Sponsored by St. Louis Composting and a Happy Roof on the voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
Well, we have talked a lot about data centers in the past few weeks, and you better believe we're going to keep talking about it for a while. And as a lot of you know, as Ranj mentioned, I'm something of a Luddite when it comes to technology. I feel like data centers are dystopian monstrosities, and I worry about them, and I worry about them littering our landscape. And we've had proposals for the data centers to be in Midtown, to be in downtown St. Louis, Franklin County, St. Charles County, and there's a lot of confusion about that. Well, ever since Mayor Kara Spencer issued an executive order as part of a compromise looking at data centers and proposals, this was several months ago, Miriam Keller, St. Louis City Planning Executive, and Alicia Russell, Sustainability Director in the city of St. Louis, have been working on a proposal or a framework that would have data center regulations. And to tell us what those regulations are Miriam and Alicia. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Well, Miriam, I guess the first thing is that you've been looking at a framework to limit large-scale data centers to areas zoned for industry and then also have more conditional use regulations. So can you set the table for our listener as what you're looking at when it comes to data centers and what you're hoping to regulate and control?
Sure. Yeah, there are a lot of ins and outs to what we're proposing, but I think a couple of key things to know are before the mayor issued her executive order and the Board of Aldermen kind of mirrored it with a resolution, the city had absolutely no regulations for data centers. And we have this interim framework, interim way of handling it, just as you described, but the step we're trying to take now is have much more clear and much more specific regulations for data centers of different sizes. So I think a couple of the big things to know are that we're treating different data centers differently. They can be really small. And some of the ones in the city today, and we do have some in the city, they're small. You know, people drive by, walk by, may not notice them. I don't think those are the ones that the community is concerned about. I think the ones that the community is concerned about are the kind of very large proposals we're starting to see and that are popping up around the country. I think every city, every community around the country right now, and we talk to a lot of staff in other cities, everybody's trying to figure this out. So we're in good company. But yeah, some of the specific things is we're taking a couple of steps to make sure they're not close to where people live or faith buildings or parks or schools. We are setting very specific application requirements to make sure that when we're considering a proposal, we know as much as we possibly can about it. We're proposing some specific building and kind of site requirements where they have to be designed kind of to the highest standard if we're even going to consider them. And we're even proposing some renewable energy requirements for the large ones to make sure that we are not forgetting and really prioritizing the city's climate goals.
I want to talk about the that part of it, the resources part of it, the power, the water, all of that that's taken up. But I just want to make something clearer. When you're talking large data centers, that would more be like where the data center that was proposed where the Armory is, right? That would be considered a larger data center?
Yes, it would be.
Okay, so anything that's about that size or above, and when you're talking smaller data centers, they could be in places that are just pretty unassuming. Do those not take, clearly they're going to take some kind of resources, but the smaller data centers, do we know whether or not they are taking enough resources that it is noticeable to the community around them?
Yeah, I would say that the small data centers, I mean, they are using, a bit more energy, like versus a regular office space, but it's not the same impact of what, these really large data centers are calling for. It's already kind of integrated. The utility understands like that these needs are there, and they're able to handle these small data centers no problem.
So, Alicia, I know that as the sustainability director, this is kind of what your purview is here. And one of the concerns, the major concerns, is water and the use of water. And I was at a Super Bowl party last night, and there were a bunch of AI commercials, and we started talking about it in the room. And one of the people there said, well, why can't they filter gray water and make it reusable again? Because that's what that ends up being, the water that is used to cool the data centers. What is the actual impact of using water in one of the larger facilities, using water to cool the devices inside?
Sure. Yeah. So there is a concern, around how much water would be used for cooling a data center, but there's a trade-off. So the more electricity a data center uses, so if it uses an air-cooled system, which uses less water, it'll use more electricity, and vice versa. So if they use a more water-intensive cooling system, it'll use less electricity. So it really depends on the data center design. And I think new data centers, from what we understand from our research, is that they want to be as efficient as possible and not use, waste a lot of water or use excessive or have a lot of heat loss or anything like that. So new age data centers most likely will trend towards using less water. And in our proposed regulations, we're trying to gear them towards that direction as well.
Miriam, as I was kind of joking, kind of not joking, that data centers make me nervous. Or I just, you see these giant buildings out in rural areas and they look so sterile, and you worry about them. But I also have been told by a lot of people that you've got to have data centers to keep tech going, AI going, data storage going, and your city needs to adapt or die type mentality. So as the fact that you are the St. Louis City Planning Executive, do you see data centers as a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, I'll just start by saying I totally understand how you feel. I think it is a very new thing for us all to think about, understand, get used to. Researching this, I definitely haven't learned everything, for sure. but I've learned a lot. I think it's not about good or bad. I think it's about finding the right balance for what works for St. Louis. I think in ways that we're aware of and that we choose to, we use a lot of data through social media, email, all these things. And in ways we may not be aware of, I think whether we're ChatGPT users or not, AI is increasingly just like infused into so many business and kind of communication operations in our country and globally. So I think data centers are sort of the infrastructure that runs all of that. I think there are some of these trends that the city can't control, right? And different data centers do different things, right? Some are running these huge AI, large language models. Some are just, backup and cloud computing space for local business, existing local businesses, or could be space for new businesses in the city. So, I think what we're proposing is not, exactly pro data center or anti data center. I think it's putting the city in a position to be very cautious and thoughtful and have enough information to kind of review every specific proposal based on its specifics.
How far down the road in the process are you in having a good idea of what and how St. Louis, specifically the city of St. Louis, should foster these data centers?
Yeah, so the status of our work is, you both described the executive order perfectly. One of the things it did was it instructed us as staff to bring recommendations within 5 months. So we respected that deadline. That's where we are. And this Wednesday, we're presenting these to the Planning Commission. There will be a public hearing. Our approach will be to really listen, get feedback, and come back with a revised proposal at a future Planning Commission meeting. We are not suggesting the Commission act right away because this is complex. This is a lot for people to absorb, and we're not about rushing it or forcing things through. So we'll refine the draft regulations. We'll bring those back for them to be introduced at the Board of Aldermen. The Planning Commission would need to recommend them, and then they would move through the legislative process like any other ordinance. I do think, just reflecting on this, I do think having some specific regulations in place is an important step for us to take. Right now, we don't have that really. So I think getting some regulations in place, getting some clear standards, some clear processes is a step we should take. And I think we know we're going to need to revise this and adapt as the industry changes, because this is fast moving. We're learning something new every day. Things are going to keep changing, and we need to change with it to the best of our ability.
Alicia, have you been able to have many conversations, or do you plan on having conversations with surrounding counties looking at potential environmental impact on the data centers, on the environment? I'm thinking specifically of Shaw Nature Reserve out in Franklin County, where there was a proposed data center. Of course, Shaw Nature Reserve, part of the Missouri Botanical Gardens umbrella, which the Missouri Botanical Gardens is in the city. So have you been able to talk to many people around the area?
Yeah, so we've been reaching out and connecting with a variety of stakeholders. And, I think as, we kind of mentioned earlier in the beginning that the data centers come in all different sizes, and the ones that are, that seem the scariest, I guess, of them all would be the ones that are going to these more rural areas where there's a lot of land space and could have bigger implications on the land or resources there. So, keeping that in mind, we've connected with stakeholders from, Botanical Gardens or Earthway Center and other environmental groups, and have also reached out to different neighboring cities and municipalities to understand, what their lens is on this situation and how they want to move forward. But it definitely, a regional approach to our resources makes a lot of sense.
So you did say there is a meeting. It's happening on Wednesday that people, if they can tune into it if they want. Is it a Zoom meeting, or they can be there in person?
Yeah, it's a hybrid meeting. So you can watch by Zoom. You can come in person. It's in the boardroom on the second floor of 1520 Market Street downtown. And there will be a public hearing, so opportunity to provide comment. We're also accepting written comments, and we'll continue to do so after the meeting.
And so people can find out information, stlewis-mo.gov, correct?
Correct. And I would recommend searching specifically for the St. Louis Planning Commission. That will get you to the information you need.
Miriam Keller, St. Louis City Planning Executive, and Elijah Russell, the Sustainability Director. We appreciate your time. Thank you both for joining us today.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thank you.
I know the conversation won't end there. We'll talk about this again in the future multiple times because it's an ongoing issue.
And we've had some texters talk about how there are already data centers here. As a 314 says, every hospital in the area relies on data centers to provide excellent care. Without data centers, there would not be world-class hospitals, especially BJC, SSM, and Mercy. And yes, and that's what they were saying is we already have at least a dozen data centers and warehouses, but it's the size. So there's a warehouse size can be used for certain businesses. Then there's the medium size and then the gigantors.
The big ones that are in more rural areas, not necessarily out in the middle of nowhere, but closer to rural areas where it is affecting water flow to people who live in those areas or electricity. And we're seeing electricity prices go up in some of those spots. I think that's what the real big concern is, because the data centers at large, they're unavoidable and they are part of our future.
I mean, MasterCard has to use them for storage, right? Think of all the information. So they have to, and as MasterCard expands or any credit card company, right, they're going to need data centers. Ryan, watching on Facebook, says most data centers now use a closed loop cooling system, which uses minimal water. All large buildings use the same type of cooling system. And I think that's part of the issue is if you're going to get a data center, you just want to make sure they're doing everything on the up and up.
That's right.
Because most absolutely is important, but that means there's some that are not being careful.
And that's what needs to happen in these situations where whatever language is put into whatever bills or ordinances or whatever is put on the books, there has to be, as I've been calling it, there has to be teeth where if the city is getting screwed by the company that puts in the data center because that company is not abiding by the standards that have been set for them, there has to be recourse from the city's perspective where they can go after those companies and say, hey, you made this promise, you better stick to it, otherwise we're coming after you. There needs to be that sort of, I think, safety net for the community to have. Amy Marks Kors, Chris Ranji, the Gas House Gang is coming up at 12 o'clock. It'll be Kevin Wheeler and me. We'll talk Super Bowl, we'll talk Cardinals, Billikens, all that and more at 12 o'clock on KMOX.
For all station contest rules, go to KMOX.com/rules.
For 100 years, KMOX has been a part of St. Louis. Now, those moments live on, preserved, remastered, and ready to be heard again. Discover KMOX from the Archives, a podcast featuring classic audio from a century of service.
Sponsored by Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original.
The KMOX from the Archives podcast, available now at KMOX100.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
When it comes to planning your retirement, there's a lot to think about. Portfolio management, tax planning, and retirement income just to get started. Steve All and his team at the All Financial Group focus on those things and more. Their goal is to help you achieve your goals. Call 636-230-8824 or online, yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Steve All, NPN number 153-07419.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler here. I want to tell you about 213 Complex. And you can pick that up at supplement superstores. And quite simply, 213 Complex is the most effective and powerful all-natural weight loss supplement ever developed. Here's what it's doing for me and what it'll do for you. Boost the metabolism, get gets it working at full go all the time. Helps with cravings. And man, that's a big deal for me. All day focus energy with no jitters, no crash at the end of the day. It's a great tool for achieving your goals. Get out to Supplement Superstores. Tell them Kevin Wheeler sent you in. They will knock 30% off your 213 complex, and you can find your location at supplementsuperstores.com.
The Missouri Valley Conference men's basketball tournament has been the showcase for buzzer beaters, madness, and championship glory. With nearly 5 decades of heart-racing excitement, it begins here at Enterprise Center. The 2026 State Farm MVC Tournament, presented by Credit Union One, Great Southern Bank, and SSM Health, tips off on March 5th through 8th. Celebrate 50 years of the Valley's postseason championship. Get your tickets now at archmadness.com.
The Humane Society of Missouri's Day of Giving is just around the corner. On this day, your favorite local TV station will highlight incredible rescue stories of animals fighting to survive, stories of courage, resilience, and hope. Visit the Humane Society website to watch these powerful stories and see the life-saving work made possible by compassionate donors like you. These stories underscore why it's so vital to support the HSMO. Go to KMOX.com/events today for more information.
Too many tools, too much stress, and way too many bills. Odoo replaces it all. One connected platform for every part of your business, so you can work faster, smarter, and for less. Odoo, the only software you'll ever need. Try it free today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
Are you turning 65 or new to Medicare? Humana knows not everyone has the same needs when picking a Medicare Advantage plan.
Now that I'm retired, I want to enjoy the life I've worked hard to build. So I want a plan that covers me when I'm traveling the country.
Humana has a plan for that.
As a veteran, I want a plan that fills in the gaps my VA coverage doesn't provide, like dental care.
Humana has a plan for that.
I feel good about my health. I just want care and coverage with predictable costs. No surprises.
Humana has a plan for that. With a Humana Medicare Advantage plan, you get coverage and benefits that focus on what matters most to you. Learn more at gethumana.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. Humana is a Medicare Advantage HMO and PPO organization with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal.
The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX and the free Odyssey app.
Amy, I'm looking out into the newsroom.
Oh, yeah?
And do you see any pizza out there?
Did someone get fired?
No.
Oh.
But do you see pizza?
No, but there's also a huge support wall.
That's blocking your view?
Yeah.
Where the food usually goes?
Yeah.
Well, guess what? There's no pizza out there. And you know what that means?
No one got fired.
No.
Oh.
Well, yeah, maybe. But also it means that we are not adhering to National Pizza Day. Because today, February 9th, is National Pizza Day. And I don't see no pizza.
I don't see it either.
You know what I think that means?
I saw Fred Bottomer walk by. Maybe he took it.
I don't think he would. I think he would share.
Because he's the health and religion editor?
Yeah, and the health editor would not be taking a whole pizza for himself.
No, you never know. It's always, the ones you least expect.
Guys like Fred.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Maybe that's it.
His 48-year career here, an elaborate ruse.
Yeah.
To get free pizza one day.
Shouldn't National Pizza Day be March 14th?
Pie? I don't think so. I think that's overused. Hey, I did want to thank all of our texts. We had a lot of texts come in today about the Super Bowl, about nasty commenters. Thank you to all of the kind. A lot of our listeners are on the up and up, man. They complimented. A lot of people stood up for my laugh, which means a lot to me. Thank you very much. I also basically cried and said I had thin skin, so they probably felt obligated to help build me up. But I appreciate it. It means a lot. One person loved my Italian accent when I said, it didn't matter. And I told them, no, that was French.
Oh.
It was French.
Yeah.
It does not matter. That's
Well, you're stealing my French
that's
accent.
your guy, Jacques Pepin.
Oh, Jacques Pepin. I love him.
Because he would say, cook it for
Yeah, he
20
doesn't,
minutes, 40 minutes. It does not matter.
You can put the potato. You don't need it.
I
Whatever
noticed
you
you didn't pull out that accent when Stefan Deneuve was in.
I did not. I don't want him judging it. Actually, I would like to do my French accent for Stefan and see what he says.
You could say, do you ever say, play this note or that note? It didn't matter.
Well, it does matter because you need to be on point
Yeah, you
when
do.
you're in the St. Louis
Yeah, you
Symphony
do.
Orchestra. That is true. Have a great rest of your Monday. Hope you're recovering from your Super Bowl party. And we're going to see you tomorrow, 9 o'clock. We'll be right back here, same places, 104.1 FM, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. And if there's anything you missed, you could find the podcast on those platforms or on the Odyssey app, iHeart app, or wherever you get your podcasts. Gas House Gang is coming up next. We will talk to Bob Ramsey at 12:30 about the Billikens. Kevin Wheeler and I will discuss the Super Bowl. We'll discuss baseball. There's a lot to talk about next on the Gas House Gang on KMOX. Honey, why don't you go to the eye doctor? I ain't looking like no liberal.
Time now for today's